1 2 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, only a couple people online. It is what it is. That's what happens when other channels is getting suspended and taken down. So a slower start as far as momentum is concerned. But hey, many are called, few were chosen. He that hath the ear to hear, let him hear. That's what it's about. Everybody ain't got to hear this. But for those that's tuning in, all praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Getting ready to get started in a minute. I'm gonna give a couple more minutes for the stragglers to come on in. You come in, make sure you wipe your feet. Wipe your feet. Do your brother that favor, man. Hit that like button. Let's get some algorithms kicking in, man, so the video can remain relevant throughout the day, and hopefully other people get notified. There is I don't want to sound like a broken record or like anybody else, but there's a true concentration of effort to shut down the so-called free speech of people, brothers, sisters, what have you. Anybody's kicking truth, man. They trying to make a concerted effort, man, to shut us down and to silence us or what have you, man, or to penalize us for speaking truth or doing what we do. So again, for those who haven't been able to tune in through the IQAhmath channel, that one is suspended until next week. So we're only streaming on a couple of different outlets. Which this particular platform, and Don't Shoot the Messenger, isn't as well known as, but hey, it's all messengers of the covenant at the end of the day. So we doing it. Hey, Shalom, Keith. What's up, Bach? Shabbat Shalom, brother. You having connection issues? Yeah, no problem, bro. That's what happens, man. Satan moving heavy on the Lord's day. Shalom Aladad. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know we did. So yeah, we're gonna creep in here slowly. We're gonna creep in here slowly. I don't expect the typical outcome of live viewers is normal because of the other channel down, but it's all good. But either way, we're gonna go ahead and let me see what time it is. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 11:10 my time. 10 after wherever you at. We going in regardless. This one to be packaged up for the archives. Okay, kind. I see you, Keith. If you need any verification to help with it, let me know. Email me what you find, and then I'll try to help you out. Make sure that the meaning, pronunciation, so forth and so on is on point to the best of my ability. Shalom, Uziel. All right. Hey, it is what it is. Whoever's on is on. Whoever's not on, you have to catch up. But this is it. You've reached it here. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. Don't shoot the messenger. DSTM, if you're not familiar, is episode number 104. That's right, 104. This is the real DSTM. I've seen a couple of cats out there, man, try to steal the name. I don't know who had it first, but if we're looking at the age of content, I think I was rolling a little longer than some of the other ones. But whatever, the real information is coming right here. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Um, Shabbat shalom to everybody that's coming in. And for those who haven't made it in yet, Shabbat shalom to you. If you're viewing this on a later date, later time, whatever, shalom to you. Okay. Um, as you can see, the title of today's episode is "Keep the Lights On in Times of Darkness." I think we can all agree that we're in times of darkness, man. The days is evil, like the scriptures say. The times is dark. There's not much good news that I could talk about outside of the good news of the gospel. That's the real good news. Stop looking for the economy to get boosted up and get a kick in the ass, and everybody's gonna start getting paid. Stop looking towards your favorite artist winning a Grammy again, or being able to go out to the concerts. That's not good news. The real good news is the gospel of Hamashiach Yahushua. Preaching repentance to the children of Israel, letting us know that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's only built for us. You're going to have servants and handmaids, most high willing. You stay diligent. You find yourself delivered out of the hell that we're in right now. That's the good news. But outside of that, as it pertains to world events, current events, there's not much good news I can tell you about. That lets us know that we're in dark times. But the scriptures told us that. Let's go to 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. And let me share my screen. Make sure that I'm got y'all with me. Okay. 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." What is perilous? See, we don't want to leave no stone unturned. Let's just make sure for anybody that may not have a refined vocabulary, let's just look and see. It says full of or involving peril, dangerous or risky, hazardous, reckless, daring. I mean, these are all uh, words, synonyms, definitions that we can apply to the times that we're living in right now. Times is dangerous. Times are hazardous. Times are reckless, right? This is what the scriptures is acknowledging. Just go outside. Just turn on the news. Just go through your Twitter feeds. If you're not, just involving yourself in entertainment and BS, you really see the times that we're living in. It says these times are going to come, and this is where we're at right now. I can't tell you nothing outside of what's that. Why is the housing market so high and unaffordable, man? New buyers, that's off the table. People that's trying to sell their homes, they're not going to be able to buy new homes because what they bought it at or what the interest rates are at right now ain't the same. Everything's going up. So the better move is to sit back and stay at home. So not only is there issues with the housing market, we're talking about inflation. We're talking about scarcity of foods and goods. We're talking about famine. We're talking about war. We're talking about a gender bending sodomite agenda that's completely changing the mind frames and the sexual attitudes and understandings of the world. A hostile takeover when it comes down to a sodomite agenda, right? You know, I mean, what good is there to talk about? So we have to talk about what things that's relevant. Jeremiah 28 told us that the prophets before had prophesied of old, of war against kingdoms, so forth and so on. So the job and the legacy of a prophet is to actually talk about the destruction and the issues that happens within kingdoms and how they're going to be taken down, pestilence, disease. We're involved in all of that right now. So we see perilous times is coming, right? And we're living in those times. Now, reading on, verse 2, it says, "For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy." I mean, look at it. And you tell me if that's not the attitude and the spirit that's happening in the world. Men being lovers of themselves, not only being just prideful and boastful or what have you, but we're talking about all the sodomite activity that's going on. We see that. Not only that, but we're seeing the self exaltation that social media provides everyone. with a quote unquote following, you know, the vanity that comes with the social media avenues. And don't get me wrong, I'm using something right now. I'm not completely against it, obviously, because I'm using it. But I know that there's a good and the evil to both sides. I know that there's back doors, and I know that there's seduction that's like, creeps through the ethernets and the damn algorithms and whatnot, man. That creeps through, man, and can inflate the egos, can inflate and seduce people's minds. That comes through these particular airways, right? So we're seeing here men being left to themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents. I mean, we're seeing an uptick of evil and wicked children running around here, man, from killing their parents to robbing, stealing. The scriptures say, man, children are our oppressors. When you're seeing the youth, man, out here acting a damn fool, high and drugged up, shooting and killing each other, man, they out here kidnapping and raping women in broad daylight, you know, mutilating themselves through tattoos and vile piercings and the whole nine. I mean, this is what's going on. Disobedient to parents, runaways, unthankful, unholy, right? Without natural affection. The natural affection, again, if you're going back to the sodomite agenda, that's not natural. Steve and John and all of that, those old comparisons. That's not natural affection. Being bi and all that's not natural affection. And I got an article we're gonna pull out later that people that are bisexual are admitting to that they've made choices that they wasn't born that way. They're making particular choices. We're gonna go into that later, right? Truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fears, despisers of those that are good. I mean, look around. If you're doing good, you're keeping the laws, you're trying to maintain it, aren't they making it harder for you? We just went through a whole year of them talking about you can't work unless you get poked, unless you submit, you bow down, except you follow after the ways of the beast. You can't even speak the truth or stand out on the corner, man, cry aloud and wake up people up without being called a hate group. Disinformation galore is out there, man. They've mobilized these fake urban apologists, preachers, and black Christians to try to save the remnants of the church because the people are waking up and leaving out in droves. And what are they trying to say? The ones that are doing good, the ones that are trying to tell our people who they are, giving them the laws, trying to instill righteousness back within our nation. They're saying, don't do that. But hold on. That's the only way we're going to get up out of here. Hold on. Look at Proverbs 14:34. It says, righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. So how in the hell can they be running around here? I'm talking about you Christians, Catholics, Episcopalians, you name it, whatever. You're all teaching the same thing, that the laws are done away with, that we don't have to keep the righteousness of God. And you saying, well, how is that talking about righteousness? Righteousness is how you feel, it's attitude, it's character. No. Just in case you didn't understand precept upon precept, Deuteronomy 6:25, it says, and it shall be our what? Righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God as he hath commanded us. So righteousness is essentially observing and doing the commandments of God. Period. And what did the Bible say? Righteousness exalts a nation. So only being obedient and keeping the commandments of God is the only way our nation is going to be exalted. And that's what the Hebrew Israelites do. We teach righteousness to exalt our nation. And as soon as we talk about exalting our nation, they're talking about how we're a hate group and how we're separatists and how we don't want. No, yeah, we need to be exalted. We need to be lifted up above all the rest of the nations. And how do we do that? By teaching after the law, statutes, and commandments of God. We're not going to be exalted no other way. It says, but sin is a reproach to any people. That's including the heathen. If they wallow and you wallow and we wallow in sin, that is a reproach. That's going to lead to rebuke, cursings, and destruction by the Lord. So how can we endorse unrighteousness, meaning we don't have to do righteousness, meaning the laws and the commandments, and then say that that's the right way to how we going to get to heaven? or how we're going to be delivered, or how we're going to be exalted, how we're going to be uplifted, how we're going to be blessed, how we're going to be prospering. You can't do that if you're not keeping the righteousness of the Lord. So, getting back in this Second Timothy 3, here we are talking about doing good, which is keeping the commandments of God, and we get despised for it, right? Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. I mean, we see that all day long, man. The vanity of the world, the lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, the pride of life. That becomes the motivating fact of everybody in the earth right now. Nobody's caring about the Most High. Nobody's trying to exalt the Lord right now. They're all caught up in their own little world, man, chasing after dreams, material dreams, and whatnot. And at the end of the day, man, losing sight of the fact that all of this is the signs that we're in what perilous times, right? So, with that being understood, the only options that we have as a people in these dark times that we're seeing here is to keep the lights on. How do we keep them lights on? What's the light, first of all? Let's get a couple precepts, man. Then we're gonna get to some of these current events and we're gonna see what's really happening. Proverbs 6:23. It says, "For the commandment is a lamp." Here we go. Talking that talk that the Christians hate to hear. You know, the disobedient and rebel. You ain't got to be a Christian, man. The average Negro that's sitting out on the street, you telling the man, put the blunt down. Put the blunt down, man. Stop chasing after women. Come get disciplined and come straighten your life out first, man, before you start trying to get yourself involved in a relationship that you're not ready to handle. Clean your life up. Put down the pork. Put down the crab, shrimp, and the lobster. Put down the drugs. And let's get right. I mean, that's like garlic to a vampire that a lot of these Negroes out here on the streets and Hispanics out here on the streets, especially in the black church and in the Hispanic cathedrals. You come in talking about the laws, man. It's like, like I said, garlic to a vampire or silver to a damn werewolf. They don't want no parts of it, man. They slithering out. No. Yes. You put the lights on, man. It's like roaches. You scatter. What are you scared of? You don't want to do right, see? But the Lord said that the commandment is a lamp. Hold on one second. Let me close this window because there's a lot of feedback. I'm sure y'all can hear the sirens and all the kind of madness going on. That's so you perilous times. All praise to the Most High. You see it? Give me one second, y'all. Hold on. All right, my bad, y'all. All right, so let's get back over here. So we see here, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light. So hence the understanding the episode in the class today. The only way that you can maintain yourself in these dark times, man, is to keep the lights on. You got to maintain yourself in these laws and these commandments, man. That's the only way you're going to be able to maintain in these dark times. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in the fog, in the deep, dark depths of the darkness and the wickedness that that's engulfing everybody in. If you don't bear that light, man, you can't see where the hell you going. You're done. So the Lord said that the commandment is a lamp and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the ways of life. Being corrected through the instructions of the law, statutes, and commandments are the ways we're going to attain into life and life everlasting, life more abundantly, as the scriptures say. So we have an obligation, man. If you have the light, you got to put it on. You got to keep it on. The times is dark right now. I told you, there ain't a lot of good news I could be talking about. I'm not. I got no feel good speech for you. You want that, man? Go to church tomorrow. They'll make you feel good. They'll keep your self esteem up. They'll keep your knees popping and your hands clapping. You want all that? Go to church tomorrow, then. Man, turn this off. Bury your head in the stand like an ostrich, man, and just act like ain't nothing going on. Pray that this August is gonna go away magically somehow. You know, go vote in the primaries in November, man. Maybe slow Biden's gonna get you up out this madness. And the Democrats. How's that worked out? It hasn't, huh? Okay. So you got no other choice. We've got no other choice but to lock in and stay with this light. It's the only way we're gonna be able to see clearly, right? For the commandment is a lamp and the laws of light and the reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Let's go to Psalms. Let me get another one of Psalms. Psalms 19. Let me see. Oops, my bad. Yeah, here we go. Psalms 19 and 8. The statutes of the Lord are right. See, the instructions and how we follow and keep the laws of the Most High said that's the only right way. That's righteousness. We don't have to make up our own. We ain't got to try to figure it out. We don't have to establish our own civil and moral codes. You know, we don't have to use no African spiritual system. We ain't got to follow the ways of my. That's all BS. The Lord said that His ways are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. See, that's the only way our eyes are going to be opened, by submitting ourselves to the commandments of the Lord that is pure. I mean, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying, man, get your diet in order, man? Shrimp, crab, lobster, pork, camel, all that. We don't eat none of that crap. You jakes down south, man, stop eating raccoon and squirrels and whatever else you can find. And you know damn well that you can eat clean meats. That's okay. But because these are recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation since the days of old of slavery, that you had to eat scraps, man, you ain't got to eat that no more. Break that family tradition. You Negroes is out there eating that. Raccoon, squirrel, damn armadillo, all this madness. I seen it all. And Jake's running around here acting like these is all traditional recipes and eating damn turtle soup. No, put it all down. That's not the perfect ways of the Lord. That's not the pure way of the Most High. See, you can do that. I mean, put down the cigarette, man. What you need to get that patch, do what you need to do. Pray to the Lord fast, so that you don't have to be stuck on addictive ways that's artificial and wrong, that defile your temple. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying, man, listen, from when the sun goes down on Friday, man, until the sun goes down on Saturday, rest, relax, man, read your Bible, man, listen to some, inspirational Hebrew Israelite music. If you got a fellowship, man, go get with brothers and sisters of like mind, man. Fellowship and stay in tune with them for 24 hours. Lock in. For 24 hours, man. You can't deny yourself for that. What's wrong with that? Oh, that's too hard. I don't want to do that. Do I have to? No, man, it's perfect. I mean, make every excuse in the world. But the Bible said that a sinful man won't be reproved, but find an excuse according to his will. So which one are you? Which one am I? You understand? So the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Oh, Salaki, I'm reading verse 8. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoice in the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure and enlightening the eyes. That's how our eyes get open. That's how we become aware. That's how we become more locked in and understanding what's going on in these dark times right now. And we don't get caught slipping like the rest of the zombie hordes that's out there in the world, man, just waiting to die. Let me stay in Psalms. Let me stay in Psalms. And I think 119 is another one. 119 is long. Is this it? Psalm 119. Yeah, let's look at 105. Or let's look at 104 and 105. So it says, Psalms 119, 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. So this is why, people are so concerned about why the Hebrew Israelites go hard against the Christians, why they go hard against the Muslims, why they go hard against the nations. Because if there are false ways that exist that I have our people engulfed in, we got to hate that, man. We got to disconnect from it. We have to have a strong discouragement and dislikement for it. We can't let our people keep falling into these damn death traps. And only through the precepts of the Most High we're going to get understanding. Because as we're reading and we're going through it and we go to these, these street battles with the word of the Lord, and the damn Christians say, why you keep going? Why you keep bouncing around? Just read it straight. How come you got to do? You obviously they don't understand how to read the book. First of all, the Lord said only by precepting are you going to get understanding, line upon line, here a little, there a little. That's Isaiah 28, 9 through 11. We have to be able to precept in order to get understanding. We read it straight through to understand the history, to understand the things that was happening during the time periods. But to unlock understanding, we have to precept. Verse 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So the word, again, of the Most High is the only thing that's going to keep our feet lit so that we can have direction. And it says a light unto my path to understand the pathways that we're going. Dark times, you need light. You need to be able to see and have solid footing when you're walking to make sure you don't slip. Okay? That's why we need the light of the Most High. Let me go to First Peter. First Peter chapter 2. It might be Second Peter. Hold on, let me see. First Peter. No, Second Peter. Let me see. Might be Second Peter. Let me see. Second Peter. No, hold on. I'm trying to think of that scripture. It might be First Peter. Maybe I'm tripping. First Peter 2. Mm, no, that's not it. I'm tripping. What am I thinking about? The Second Peter? Slack you, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to remember the scripture. Mm, uh, dang. Slack you, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to remember. I remember it said about a witness. Mm, is it this one? Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna find it. Uh, Dang, that wasn't it. This is it right here. Hold on. Second Peter 1. Oh, that's it. Second Peter 1. Okay. All right, that was it. Second Peter 1. Okay, yeah, this is it right here. All right, Shalaki, y'all. So here we go. Second Peter 1:16. It says, "For we have not followed cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power and the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty. So this is Peter acknowledging that he never got caught up. They didn't get caught up in cunningly devised fables. So, in like manner, in learning after the ways of the apostles of old, the disciples of old, seeing and how they maintained themselves during dark times, it said they didn't get caught up following after devised fables, cunningly done. Lord knows, man, there's so much disinformation and wickedness is online, on TV, in in every atmosphere that we're involved in. We're seeing and involving ourselves in and looking at a whole war that is built upon propaganda and lies and disinformation and who knows who doing what's really real. I mean, it's all kind of madness going on right now. Cunningly devised fables. They've got every avenue lined up to try to defend and try to discourage anybody to coming into the knowledge of who they are, being a Hebrew Israelite. Oh, don't believe the Bible. The Bible's been tampered with. The Bible's been written 1,000 times. How can you trust it to really be the word of God? Oh, there was no color in the Bible. You got these cats out here running around here talking about there was nobody black in the Bible. These are all lies. How to debunk a Hebrew Israelite? Deuteronomy 28:68. That already happened. That wasn't the slave trade. I mean, they've got every devised fable and lie lined up, trying to cunningly cut you off from your inheritance, cut you off from being a nation. Remember that? Psalms 83? Do we need to look at that real quick? I mean, remember, cunning craftiness is how they're trying to get us. You know, Look, I made mention to it before. If anybody didn't hear about it, didn't know, the IQAhmath channel, YouTube channel that streams our content as well. I got an email from YouTube, I think Monday night or something like that. I don't remember the day. Flagged the channel for a video that got uploaded and has been on YouTube since July of last year. How in the hell are they going to pop up out of nowhere? Why are they even thumbing through our content? Why are they even sending bots our way? Looking for anything to try to find something from over a year? We talking July of 2020. So that was last year, a little less than a year ago. That thing has been on for who knows how long. And they said, oh, we have to restrict your content and suspend your channel. We're giving you a strike because of this video. Again, the video had been up since July of 2021. And you talking about April of 2022? Oh, whoops, we let one slide. We had to go back and go. Who's sending these bots over here to investigate? Who's reporting saying go check them out? We don't like what they're saying over there. And you can't find nothing, so they find a damn video to make up a lie and say it's medical misinformation going on, and never say what it was. That's cunning craftiness, man. Look, Psalms 83, verse 2 and 3, classic scriptures, but it's always relevant because it's happening to this day. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Oh, really? They lift up their head. Who's going? What's going on over there? Let's take action. Let's pay attention to see what they're doing. They that lifted up have lifted up, hate us that lifted up their head. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. So we understand and see what they're doing. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So it's like a witch hunt going on. I'm sure other brothers in other camps have faced the wrath. And I'm not talking about just historically. I'm saying recently. I wouldn't doubt if other brothers' channels have gotten affected or struck against, and new mandates are regarding what you can and can't say keep coming out. Can't be critical of that. Can't be. I mean, what happened to free speech? What happened to backing up whatever you're talking about with valid information that's being publicized mainstream? Everything y'all know that I do, I'm attaching or I'm referencing mainstream news articles. Why? How come the fact checkers aren't going after them, saying, "Hold on, you can't promote that. You can't talk about that. You can't go on air on ABC, NBC, CNN, Fox. You can't go on there talking about that. RT, don't do that because we're regulating over here on YouTube. No, we can't do that because the conglomerate heads of YouTube, which is headed by Google and all of that, They've got their own quote unquote community guidelines. So this is what ends up happening. These are fables that come into play that Paul said, hey, we didn't follow after these cunningly devised fables, man. Lies, false doctrines, you know, all of those things. They were cunningly devised against us. He said, when we made known unto you the power and the coming of our Lord, Hamashiach Yahushua, right? But we're eyewitnesses of his majesty. Well, when did that happen? When were they eyewitnesses of his majesty? They seen all they seen all the miracles. They saw um, the great uh, miracles that Yahushua performed. They followed him. Look at Matthew 17:1. It says, and after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John. Remember who was there? Peter. Okay. James and John his brother, and bringeth them up into an high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as light. So they seen the glory of the Mashiach being shown right in front of him. He got transfigured into a angel or a being of pure light and righteousness, and his garment turned into pure white, right? Showing the purity and the righteousness that was within him. And look who else was there. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elijah, talking with them. Then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elias. So this is what Peter was referencing. He said that when they were made known unto you the power and the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty. Reading on verse 17, it says, for we received from the Most High, from God the Father, honor and glory, when there came such a voice to him from the excellent glory, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Verse 18, in this voice, which came from heaven, we heard when we were with him in the holy mountain. That's what we were just talking about. Remember? It said that they went up to the high mountain. Peter, James, John went up with Yahushua, witnessed the glory, right? Verse 19, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place. I'm going to read that again. We have also a more sure word of prophecy. How do we have a sure word of prophecy? Because what? We're seeing eyewitnesses of what was being said in days of old and is happening now. Wars, rumors of wars, famine, pestilence, false Christ arising, earthquakes in diverse places, trumpets being blown, seals being broken open, the awakening of the children of Israel in mass, returning back to the Most High. See, all of that is happening now. It says, we also have a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, be careful, as unto a light that shineth into a dark place. So that's the metaphor, or that's the similitude. Watch where you're going, as a light that shineth in a dark place. This is why the essences of the lesson today is regarding keeping your light on during these dark times. Let's finish this up. Until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts, until the enlightening and the awakening of your minds happens, keep the light on, right? That's what we need to do. Let me also read one more. Revelation. Revelation 2. And let's read verse 5. And this is a lesson for all of us. Okay, it says, remember therefore from whence thou art fallen, and repent and do the first works. So, regardless of where you're at in your walk, whether you're just coming in, whether you've been in for 6 months, 6 years, 10 years, 11 years, 14, 20, 30 years, the Lord said, we always got to remember where we fell. Be it at the inception of our cursings, at the inception of our waking up, whether you was, live learning and applying the laws and you fell flat on your face, you had to pick yourself up. Remember, the scriptures also tell us that a just man falleth 7 times, so forth and so on, right? But I let you know that there's always a way to come back. There's always a little get back. Remember, the Most High said that all manner of sin to be forgiven, save for blasphemy in the Holy Spirit. If you ain't did that and you falling short, You made error or whatever the case may be. The Lord said, man, pick yourself up, repent, and do the first works. That's the only redemption that you can have. You're not gonna get it wallowing in the mire. You're not gonna get it kicking the can down, just waiting for it to be judged and being destroyed. You're not gonna get any redemption by finding the nearest bottle and climbing into it. You're not gonna get any redemption by saying the hell with it, man. I might as well just go back into the world and act a damn fool. There's no redemption out of that. The Lord said, remember, therefore, from whence thou art fallen. You know your starting point. You know wherever, and if there was one, and if you've been strong in the Lord said the only way that you're gonna stay on fire and you're gonna make sure that you don't fall is you always remember what happened to our forefathers back in the day. So if you're on the opposite end of the spectrum, you saying, man, I've been holding the zone down, I'm riding, I've been good, blah blah blah. The Lord said, but you always got to remember, where did we fall? From being disobedient, man, and breaking the commandments of the Lord and losing our losing our light, and our people slid into darkness. And what do we have to do? We have to repent and do the first works. Can't get comfortable, can't get too complacent. The Lord said, get back and do the first works, man. That zealous spirit that you had on you. When you first came in, you wanted to tell the world, man, nobody could tell you nothing. Brothers want to grow your beards down to your damn bellies. You wanted to go out there, man, and shine a light every minute that you could. The Lord said, remember that first work, man. Remember that zealous spirit that you had? What happened to it? Your light is flickering right now. Your batteries is getting dim. What do you need to recharge? Charge up and get to it. But it said, remember and do the first works. Contrary to popular belief for the Christians, you don't run to Galatians talking about it's not of works, but of faith. I can't tell. What did it say? Do the first works. Or else I will come unto thee quickly and will remove thy candlestick out of his place, except thou repent. So your light, my lights could get put out unless we repent. So otherwise, we're going to lose that light that was promised to us, man. So just wanted to kind of give a few scriptures, man, in regards to what the lesson is we're going to, to think about, meditate on today. And then let's look at some of these current events, man, and see what's been happening in the world. All right. Before we go there, everybody good? Am I missing anything? Let me check the chat. Let me get this banner up out of here. Oops, my bad. Yeah, that's the truth, Key. Who am I missing? Manaf Shalom, sis, what's going on? Aladai, who you say? Namawa and the family? Are they on? I didn't see. I don't see none. But ain't no telling. Like I said, a lot of people come through on the IQ channel. That one's down. They may not even know. If they ain't subscribed over here, they ain't gonna see. That's why I said a long time ago when the other channel got deleted, subscribe to the backup channels. They're in the description box. Subscribe to all of them because you never know. We get chopped down in one avenue, we gotta have another place of refuge to run to. They're always gonna be trying to chop us down one way or the other. So go into that description box, brothers and sisters. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the other channels immediately. Because again, they looking for anything to try to get rid of us. Like I said, they archiving videos from 10 months ago that's been on YouTube. Never had no problems, and all of a sudden they found some reason to say this ain't right. So if they doing that, you just know, there might be some issues going on. What you saying? What I miss? Okay. To be honest, I think people. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised. Usually, I think it's it's people reporting, like you said. There's an avenue that people could be. It's not necessarily bots. They'll send the bots to go do the dirty work, but somebody can go and they got watchdogs, man. That's looking at all Israelite camps and content. And any minute they say, okay, send the bots in, scour through their content. You got Jakes, man, that got hundreds and thousands of videos in their archives, man. And the individual's not gonna go through that. So they send the bots to go do the work. But you got the watchdogs are saying, watching every little camp and watching every little thing and saying, "Oh, I didn't like that. Can we send a bot over there to go get them?" And they go do that. So who knows what the hell's going on, man. But nonetheless, that's why we got other avenues, man. Lock in, subscribe to the other channels in the description box, and we'll be good from there. All right. Let's get to it then. Let's get to it. Uh-oh. Look at this. Look at this. Look who decided to join the party. Should we be surprised? Hundreds of Ethiopian men queue to join Russia's fight in the Ukraine. Well, haven't we been saying that for months on end now regarding Ezekiel 38? Did we forget how this is relevant to prophecy? Maybe we did. Maybe we did. I don't know. Oops. Maybe we did. Hmm. How about that? Maybe we did. Look at this. Just a little reminder. Ezekiel 38. Let's read 2. We're going to read down to verse 5. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince Meshach, and the Tubal, and prophesy against him. So we're talking about the leader of Gog and Magog, the land against Gog, the land of Magog, right? Uh, Gog is the chief ruler in this particular day and time. That would be Putin. The land of Magog would be the entire Soviet Union and its accompanying historical landmarks of areas that they've conquered, which would include the Ukraine, which would include Crimea. These are all lands that was all part of the USSR. When you look at the map, you can see the biggest, the USSR back in. Look at a map that still shows their land during the time of World War I, World War II. You'll see how big the USSR was. It was the biggest country in the world. Um, and who's the ruler of that? In modern day times right now, we're talking about Putin. So it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So these are all talking about Russia, okay, and his ruler. And say, Thus said the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So the Most High is prophesying that he is against what Putin is doing. But how is he against him? Because he's utilizing him for warfare, for judgment, for final battle, for Armageddon. If the Most High is not with him, he's using him as opposition. Okay. Verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. So regardless of the direction that Putin would want to do, he's fighting against the will of the Lord. The hooks is in his jaws, he's taking the bait, he's being drugged onto the boat. Just like a fish or whatnot, he's getting pulled into this war. He's getting pulled into conflict. He's getting pulled into a place of decision to where he's going to have to initiate, and he's going to have to go ahead and go forward with everything that he's stating and standing on. So this is why everybody's saying, "Oh, this is Putin's war. Oh, everything is because of Putin. Russia's to blame." We've heard all that rhetoric, right? That's because the hooks of the Most High is in him. He's going to be public enemy number one. He's the James Bond villain in this movie that we all are part of right now. Okay. So why? Because the Most High slammed them hooks in his jaws and pulled him in. So let me look at this in uh, in Job. What? Am I spelling it right? Yeah. There we go. So in Job 12:16, it says, "With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his." See, uh, Most High is in full control, right? So when them hooks is in his jaws, that's the Lord bringing them in. It said the deceived and the deceiver is his. The Most High is the ultimate chess player. He's running the smoke screens. The Most High is pushing the evils that's going on in the earth. Look at this. Proverbs 16:4. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. See, that's why we see that you can't run around here talking about God is love. All he does is love and wants to care for you. God wants to take care. No, he said, man, the Lord said, I even create evil. I'm controlling the wicked. Has the evil been blown in the city and the Lord have not done it? Isn't that what Amos said in chapter 3? The Lord said, I made everything for myself, for himself, I should say. Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So when we see in this here, in Ezekiel 38 and 4, it says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. The Most High has created this man to commit evil, wickedness. He's the deceiver, and the deceiver is he said, I'm controlling it all. Why? Because my children need to be delivered. They're waking up. They're deserving of being delivered. They're working hard on repenting. They're changing lives. They're constructing and building up families in righteousness. They're setting up communities. They're doing what they need to do in order to come back to me. So let me do my part and bring forth judgment so that they can receive the inheritance that I promised them. I will turn thee back, verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So we're seeing the sword use being done, the javelins being used. We're seeing the bomb, what do they call them? Shedding bombs or whatever the hell they shelling. The shelling bombs is going on. We're seeing all the armories, the tanks. We're seeing the drones. We're seeing all of this being put into effect right now, right? But look at this. Verse 5. Persia, which is modern day Iran, but also encompassing all of um, the lands of ancient Persia, which includes Pakistan, who has joined the fray, which includes Syria, which has joined the fray, which includes Iran, which is on board with Russia, right? So Persia has an alliance. But look at this. Ethiopia. Oh, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. They're joining in with Russia, huh? They're being drugged in. So what did we just see? Ethiopia? Hundreds of Ethiopian men queue to join Russia's fight in Ukraine. Is not the Most High's word true? I mean, shame on anybody that's out here talking about the Bible is tampered with. Oh, that's man's interpretation. Oh, we don't need to read that. I mean, are you serious? Our people is not reading, they're not understanding prophecy, and they're definitely not locked into the Holy Spirit. Because if you was, you'd be seeing and understanding the times that we living in, man. The word of the Lord is true. Didn't we read that earlier in Psalm 19? It is pure. And according to Ezekiel 38, here we see it. Ethiopia now is joining in. Why? Because they need to align themselves with Gog and Magog, Meshach, and Tubal to fulfill prophecy. They've had long-standing relationships because um, even um, the Eritreans, I believe they joined it. I think I covered that not long ago. That the Eritreans in Africa they were aligning themselves and wanted to help the Russians. So we're seeing nations of Africa joining in particular, though, the Ethiopians, as it says in Ezekiel 38. Hundreds of Ethiopian men queued to join Russia's fight in the Ukraine. A nation friendly to Russia has moved to silence claims that hundreds of men have been lining up to pledge their service to Vladimir Putin in the Ukraine. Hundreds of Ethiopians have been seen queuing outside their local Russian embassy in Ethiopia with the hope of escaping the famished nation to provide support for the invading force in the Ukraine. Reuters reported rumors of a $2,000 payment for those who join up, as well as a possibility of work in Russia after the war. Oops. While none were seen entering the embassy, dozens of men were spotted providing details to the security personnel. Millions across Ethiopia are currently battling civil conflict as annual inflation sits around 30%. Well, we're heading that way. If everything keeps scaling in the way that it is, we're heading towards being like Ethiopia. The situation in a poverty-stricken African nation has bred desperation among the poorest of 114 million strong population, with reports of food shortages at hospitals filtering through regularly. Sound familiar? Oh, panic at the hospitals. Haven't we been going through that the past couple years? Food shortages, isn't that already being talked about here and worldwide? See, we used to make fun of the big swollen belly Africans and flies falling all on them on them commercials. For $1 a day you can feed a kid. Hey, that's coming here. Ironically, but we see here the prophecy is there. Ethiopia is now lining up to join the fray and join in the fight. Okay, that's thus saith the Lord. Let's move on. Russia steps up its threat to the West after firing Satan II intercontinental ballistic nuke that can destroy the UK, with Putin aid hailing the weapon as a present to NATO and all sponsors of uh, Ukro-Nazism. So look at that. Russia fired off that Satan II ICBM missile, doing a test. Is that not indicative of saying where we're at right now? They're in the midst of a war. Last week, we talked about all the nuke talk that was going on, right? We see multiple nations talking about it. Russia's still pumping it up. America's running up their defense systems. They're testing their nuke. Everybody's nuking up, right? Now, Russia actually did the launch. And remember last week I said whether the propaganda is true, if it is true that the Ukraine is over there, 30,000, Russian troops are dying. He's lost multiple generals. His back is against the wall. They're talking about uh, how bloated and sick Putin looks now. He's holding on to tables to sit up straight, and you know. So if all of that is true, why wouldn't he say, you know what, the hell with it, man? Let me just launch this thing off and get it cracking. I'm taking somehow with me if that's how if that's how the legacy of Russia's going out. Let me take out a few before it's all said and done. I'm going down in history doing that. Mr. Pride of the so-called white man, he would do that. He doesn't care how he's remembered as long as he's remembered. We should know that. All the history that we read about, all of the atrocities that he's done to us. You think he gives a damn? If he did, he would have been getting them 40 acres and a mule and everything else that he promised. But we know the fork-tongued nature that he involves himself in. He ain't even apologizing for nothing. All he wants us to do is remember it. That's why he gave Negroes a damn Black History Month. It ain't always to exalt us, because the historical, systematic way that they implement the damn education is always in the remembrance of what he did to us. Even when you're talking about, oh, we're going to exalt Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, what's the flip side of it? What was going on during their times that made them great, that made them stand out, that made them become great orators, that made them go out there and lead our people up out of, the degradation of the hoods? Because of white oppression. He always makes sure he's remembered. So why wouldn't Putin say, you know what, the hell with it, man? I'll go down in history as the one that took out the UK, that destroyed New York, that destroyed the West Coast, and put up a hell of a fight against, the NATO nations, as I was outnumbered 30-10, with his allies. 30-10, man, and I took out half of the 30 and left the residue of nuclear active radio waste, man, to destroy the rest of the earth. I mean, that's in his thoughts. But we know the Bible tells us that the ultimate destruction is coming through Yahweh Shai, the angels, or what have you. But he's damn sure going to try to. We know Esau is going to damn sure, according to the scriptures, going to try to institute destruction and war. Let's look at that real quick. Let's look at that real quick. Let's go to Jeremiah 50, and let me see. I want to start at. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but let's read. Hold on. Let's start at verse 4. We're gonna zip through this just a little bit. All right. So Jeremiah 50 and 4 says, in those days, this is how we know it's a future prophecy. And in that time, said the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, and they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. So in the future prophecy, the children of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the children of Judah are going to come together. That's why when you read later on in this chapter, in the 33rd verse, it says Judah and Israel were oppressed together in Babylon. We talking about in this modern day Babylon, right? Because who was only in captive? The children of Israel was only captive in Babylon. I mean, the children of Judah was only captive in Babylon. The 10 tribes was already carried away into Assyria at that time, damn near 200 years earlier. So you couldn't be talking about ancient at that time. We're seeing now the children of Israel and the children of Judah here together, northern and southern kingdom, crying together, weeping, praying that the Most High delivers us. Thus, you see camp after camp popping up, springing up all over the place. Brothers waking up, whether it's a couple of them, whether it's thousands of them. Israel is waking up, four corners of the earth, right? Verse 5, they shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Lord in the perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. So Israel's repenting. We're saying we're going to actually get ourselves right. We're going to return back to the Most High. That's happening now as we see in the great awakening of Israel. Verse 6, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. So the shepherds, the ones that's been entrusted to lead our people, have deceived our people. That's why we're going hard. We're exposing the churches. We're exposing the mosque. We're exposing all of the false doctrines, the Pan-Africanism, the Kemetic sciences, all the other matters, right? And the last one standing is the children of Israel. All the rest are still, wallowing in the mire. The Muslims are kicking the can down, just waiting waiting for things to be over. We seen them even compromise their doctrine. They're willing to accept, oh yeah, the Bible. We know the Bible was first. We know we're Israelites. We know, but they can't fully repent and give it all up. They think compromising and making it a little mixture of hodgepodge is going to get them delivered. No, you got to fully commit or don't, right? So, reading on, it says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. So, we're seeing how the legacy of our people being destroyed for lack of knowledge, going from here to there, being led astray. Verse 7, all that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not because they have sinned against their Lord. So everybody's got a little piece of the Israelites. The Moabites had us in captivity. The Ammonites had us in captivity. Ishmael had us in captivity. Esau had us in captivity. Ham had us in captivity. Everybody's taking advantage. And they all said, well, what's the problem? Haven't we heard that rhetoric now? Why are we talking about reparations? That was a long time ago. We shouldn't have to pay for what people did centuries ago. Move on. That's not. Haven't we heard that rhetoric? We offend not because they sin against the Lord. They're saying, listen, even you got some of these Christians talking about it. They don't blame the white man. Oh, according to your doctrine in Deuteronomy 28, it was your fault. Yeah, no question. But guess what? The scriptures say that Esau helped forward the affliction. They've went above and beyond the call of duty, man. They've taken full advantage of us. African nations, man, they come over here selling us the garments and everything else. They ain't even wearing that stuff over there. They want to look like you. And they said, man, no harm, no foul. It's not our problem. We didn't do it. It's not our problem. There's no offense here. Yeah, we're killing you in the streets. Yeah, we poison your water. Yeah, we've committed medical experimentation on you. Yeah, we put you in bondage. Yeah, you know, uh, we set up a system to where you'll continually be oppressed and you'll never have a chance to catch up. I think they said it would take over 200 years to even the wealth gap between so-called blacks and whites. Let me see if that's accurate. Yeah, look at this. This is from a 2016 article. Blacks will take hundreds of years to catch up to white wealth. Hundreds of years. That was in 2016, and it's worse now. This is this is just this. I'll tell you. I'm moving the spirit. When it said that verse, we offend not because they sin against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. They're not going to apologize, and they're not trying to give up nothing to try to make the odds even. The wealth gap between blacks and whites in America will take hundreds of years to close, if ever. If current trends persist, it will take 228 years for black families to accumulate the same amount of wealth as whites, according to a report released this week from the Corporation of Economic Development and the Institution of Policy Studies for Latino Families. It will take 84 years. So the Northern Kingdom, it was going to take them 84 years. Southern Kingdom, 228 years. Either way, the wealth gap is damn near hundreds of years apart. And they're not repenting for it. They're not trying to make amends for it. Why? Because they out here paying rappers six figures to go out there and rap and do shows and keep dumbing down, our people. They're paying athletes hundreds of millions of dollars and to make it look like, look, you guys got money. What are you talking about? Denzel is making millions of dollars. Will Smith's making millions of dollars acting and entertaining us. What are you talking about? The black struggle, Hispanic struggle. Notice that Native Americans ain't even mentioned. I show you how bad it is, right? I mean, we've seen the stories about with the housing. Black families aren't afforded the same advantages and uh, abilities to accumulate wealth or even selling their homes for the same prices. This black couple up north. I think they were in San Francisco, I believe. If it wasn't San Francisco, they was in a city up north here in California, and they went to sell their house, and I don't remember the exact number, but let's just say the real estate agent and appraiser and all that, they said, "Oh, we could probably sell it for about 400,000." And based upon the income or the amount of the neighborhood ranges for what the houses was worth in their areas at that time, they knew that was low and that was BS. So they brought one of their white friends in and said it was their house the whole night. Do you know that they boosted up the sale price? I think it was damn near like to 500,000 or something like that. This is the type of madness that they doing, and they saying we hold ourselves not guilty. Be it on the streets and killing and murdering our people, let alone to the economics. I don't want to go to that other article because I don't want to take too much time. But if y'all remember that, or because I covered it a while back, but I do remember it. If anybody remembers that situation, see, damn, now I want to leave y'all thinking, he lying or he who knows if that's true. No, let me see. Here we go. Home appraisals for black couples skyrockets after white friend pretends to be the homeowner. So just in case y'all be thinking I'll be making this stuff up, or I'll be remembering this stuff, and I just had to pull it up. After an appraiser and the Austin's white woman pal met at their house, his value went up by a whopping 493,000. I was way off by that much. Do you see that? When a white woman came in and said it was her house, the appraisal for the value went up $493,000. I said it was like $100,000. Almost $500,000. A white woman come in just off to the fact that she's a damn white dog. The value went up almost half a mil. Paul Austin and his wife Tanisha Tate Austin of Marin City, yeah, that's still up north. Marin City purchased their first home off market from another black family in 2016. After moving in, they made $400,000 in renovations to the house, which was originally built in the 60s. The couple reportedly added 1,000 square foot of space with an entire floor. They also built a deck, new floors, fireplace, added new appliances. However, when they had the home appraised, they believed it was undervalued due to their race. Uh, the home appraised for $989,000, which the Austins claimed was $100,000 more. than what they had it appraised for, um, prior to the hundreds of thousands in major renovations they made. Look, after the appraiser and Austin's white woman co-conspirator had their meetup woman moment at the house, the value of the home increased by nearly 50%. According to the report, it was appraised for $1,482,000, a whopping $493,000 more. And you say there's no white privilege, huh? And this is what they say: all that found them have devoured them, taking advantage of us, man, raping us, murdering us, man, skinning us dry, putting us in situations, man, to survive. We're all killing ourselves just to live. Overtime, 6 day a week shifts, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, only to shop at the worst of the damn stores. You know, are we afforded to having, Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and, Sprouts and Mother's Markets and all these high end, Gelson's? But they in the hood, man, and do we got to go travel out to go get them things? You got to go travel out. And then we paying skyrocketing prices. But what's in our neighborhoods? At least in California, I don't know where some of y'all just lower level store. Food for Less, Superior, Elegante, uh, John's Market instead of Vons. And they get they get the leftovers. Is there a 99-cent store in Beverly Hills or Bel Air? You think? For what? They don't have a need for one. Blacks and Hispanics, we do. But they go and they devour us, and it said, and their adversary said, we offend not, because they've sinned against their Lord and the habitation of justice, even the Lord, their hope of their fathers. Let's read on. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans and be as the he goes before the flocks. So we got to separate ourselves. We got to lead ourselves up out of here, right? For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. So we know that if we're looking at geographically, the north country from Israel back in the day, northern of there would be Russia, right? And it's talking about ancient Babylon. Are we talking about Babylon of old? Oh, we're going to see. Or are we talking about a future prophecy? Remember, it said the days shall come in the earlier verses. And it says, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. So these nations are going to rise up and utilizing arrows. Why is arrows being used as a weapon? Because these are the only things that's going to be able to fly through the air as a means of war and land into enemy territory without having to be close, hand-to-hand combat. So here we are seeing, and I'm going to come back to this verse and finish it up. Russia steps up its threat to the West after firing, ironically, the Satan II missile. I mean, do we need any more guidance to say that the so-called white man is the motivating spirit or Satan, and the devil is a motivating spirit behind the damn white man? He's even naming destructive weapons after his master and Lord. Huh? So, intercontinental ballistic nuke that can destroy the UK, with Putin aid hailing the weapon as a present to NATO and all sponsors of Ukraine-Nazism. Okay, let me go back real quick. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. So it said, an assembly of great nations. So we just talked about some of them: Ethiopia, Syria, Libya, Iran, Pakistan, Ethiopia. I mean, we've seen all of these nations that's aligning themselves up with it. We've heard about Cuba, Venezuela, all the ones who's aligning themselves up with it. We talked about it ad nauseum about the nations and making their decisions about who and where they were going to side with. Everybody that's riding with Russia, they're moving to the right. The ones that's keeping with NATO, they're moving to the left. The ones who's futurely going to be joining NATO, they're all lining themselves up to have a great big war. And who's at the head of it? Who's the puppeteers behind it all, especially behind NATO? America. Babylon the Great. This is where all the strings get pulled. Okay, so that's I'm gonna stop there with that verse, right? Because I said I'm not gonna read through the whole thing, but just to show you, the arrows was gonna be shot. None's gonna return in vain. But look at the power of these ICBMs, though. Vladimir Putin ordered the test launch of the Sarmat RS-28 Satan II missile. The intercontinental ballistic missile has a range of some 11,200 miles. Do the math. Go see how far. See, now I might have to do it. Now I'm about to help y'all out because y'all ain't gonna do it. Y'all ain't gonna go look and see. How many miles? Let's just say Alaska. That's the first one that popped up. The narrowest distance between mainland Russia and mainland Alaska is approximately 55 miles. That's nothing. So for Russia to hit Alaska, that you could drive there in less than an hour if there was able roads like that, right? How about New York? The total straight line flight distance from New York to Moscow is 4,680 miles. Oh, sounds like that missile can reach New York easy. If it can travel 11,000 miles, it can hit New York 4,000 miles. How about Los Angeles? Total distance between Russia and Los Angeles is 14,564 kilometers, 965 miles. The mile based measurement distance is 9,050.3 miles. Oh, so they can hit LA too. Interesting. Okay. Get the point? How about this? Russia to Washington, D.C., 4,872 miles. Get the point? This missile can hit America easy. Easy. Missile range, 11,200 miles. I mean, nothing is shorter than 9,000 miles, which is here on the West Coast. Let me finish reading this. Putin described the launch as a big, significant event for Russia's military. The Russian leader claims his missile can evade any current defense system. That's what he claims. There's no defense system that can stop it. Hmm. Look at this. Uh, Vladimir Putin sent a chilling warning to the West yesterday by test launching his fearsome Satan II missile, capable of striking a target 11,200 miles away. The nuclear capable Sarmat, did I read that right? Nuclear capable Sarmat RS-28 is said to be the world's longest range intercontinental ballistic missile. Putin described the launch as a big, significant event for Russia's military and claimed the weapon can overcome all modern defense systems. Um, you tell me. And it was a successful launch. It didn't blow up. It didn't, it was a successful launch. This is the threat that he's letting to be known and telling slow Biden, play if you want to. I just told you last time, if you fund the Ukraine anymore, it's going to be problems. He said unforeseen consequences or something to that nature. And what is slow Biden's response is, he's full of it. Send another 800 mil to the Ukraine. What's his response? Hey, go run a test on the Satan II missile, launch it off, and let him know I'm not playing. Slow Biden thinks everything's a damn joke. But the deceived and the deceiver are the most highs. Okay, let's move on. Look at this. Here it goes. Rocket that can destroy cities 11,200 miles away. They said this whole thing can destroy France, the entire country. In remarks televised around Russia, Putin congratulated the military on the launch, adding, Quote, this truly unique weapon will strengthen the combat potential of our armed forces, reliability, ensure the security of Russia from external threats, and make those who, in the heat of aggressive rhetoric, who's he talking to? My God, Putin needs to be removed. And remember Slow Biden talking tough? We're going to lay down the sanctions on him and all the oligarchs and evil Putin and all of that tough talk, right? He says, and will make those who, in the heat of aggressive rhetoric, try to threaten our country think twice. That's why he said, I told you once, Slow Biden, fall back, get out this damn war, and stop giving money to Ukraine and funding them and giving them weapons. Or else. Slow Biden said, man, 800 million more to Ukraine, I'm doubling down. What? Okay. He didn't think once. Let me make him think twice now. Launch the test of the Satan 2 in ICBM. That get your attention now? Now he said he added it was capable of overcoming all modern means of anti-missile defense. Dmitry Rogozin, director of the Russian Space Agency Roscosmos, said the weapon was a present to NATO and all sponsors of Ukro-Nazism, a reference to the outlandish propaganda claims that Kyiv is run by neo-Nazis. I mean, we already read that was true. What are they talking about? Outrageous propaganda. Remember they talked about the damn right-wing militia group that was battling in Kyiv that had a that had Nazis involved in it. I covered the articles on that. They talking about that's propaganda, more lies. Esau is ridiculous. But you can see on this graphic right here. See the big red arrow. This is Russia launching all the way to uh, America. Look, 250,000 square miles believed to be an area the size of France. A single missile can destroy. 11,200 miles. It says operational range includes all major world cities capable of flying over North and South poles, making it much more difficult to shoot down. Uh, the launch they did today, they said they launched it. It was 3,600 miles, so they didn't even do the full capability, right? So we see it here, and you see it, they over here rolling it out. One bomb, man, can destroy all of France. There's a whole country can be gone. So imagine if this thing ever got launched and the targets were set over here. Well, we just got the reading that the arrows is going to be not shot in vain anymore, and it's going to be hidden uh, after Babylon. After Babylon's going to get hit. Hold on. Uh, let me see. Let me just. All right, I'm gonna read down to verse 12. It says, "In Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied," saith the Lord. So talking about the destruction of Babylon, because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellow as bulls. So Babylon is profiteered off of the enslavement and the destruction of the children of Israel. It said the destroyers of mine heritage. They've grown because of that. They've grown fat as a heifer in the grass and bellow as bulls. So they've living, as the old saying goes, high on the hog, off of the blood, sweat, and tears of the children of Israel. Verse 12, your mother shall be sore confounded. Well, who's the mother of Babylon? Ancient Babylon. Huh? We ain't talking about ancient Babylon. America is the birth child of ancient Babylon. She that bear you shall be ashamed. Oh, so ancient Babylon will be ashamed of what they see was happening with modern day Babylon. Behold, the hindermost parts of the nation shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. So we see here what's happening, right? America's going to get it, but it's going to be completely cleaned up by Hamashiach Yahweh Shai and the angels. That's when we're talking about real complete destruction, wipe out, perpetual smoke, and the whole nine. But America's gonna get damaged. There's gonna be tribulation. There's gonna be warfare that touches this ground like never before. Outside of the civil war that they had here, America's gonna get hit with some bombs. Thus save the Lord. All right. So we see the missile, the missile launch. Putin stepping up the game. Satan 2's been unleashed. Okay. And we see the capabilities that it has now. Look at it. Nuke danger. Moment Putin's nuclear bomber flies close to the Ukraine border in a major war escalation. So he's even showing you, I'm putting out the bombers too. I'm tired of playing games. Y'all keep messing around. You keep laying out this propaganda. You keep lying on me. You keep doing this, that, and the third. I'm going to show you I'm not playing. I'm flashing. Don't make me use it. That's what he's essentially saying. Videos call for aircraft, one used to carry nuclear bombs over Kaluga region between Moscow and the Ukrainian border. The defense ministry in Moscow had not immediately announced the purpose of the mission. Larger Tu-95S have been used a number of times to strike targets in the Ukraine with non-nuclear weapons, notably Kh-55 and Kh-101 air-launched cruise missiles. The latest attacks by Russia concentrated on major cities, including Kyiv and Lviv. So he's still showing and proving that he's ready to step up to the next level if need be. Okay. Look at this. Zelensky warns of Russian nuclear attack and calls for a stockpile of radiation pills. So is this propaganda? Or is President Zelensky over there in Ukraine taking this threat serious? He's calling for radiation pills. You know that those radiation pills, potassium iodine on it, it's backlogged. That also has been hit. Uh, there's a scarcity of them, I believe. Let me see. Hold on. Maybe they say they sell them on Amazon, but I don't know if that is even reliable. But potassium iodide, those are supposed to be the pills you would take in the event of a um, nuclear fallout. It's supposed to, protect your thyroid and your glands and all of that from nuclear radiation. I'm not sure if these are viable. I mean, they're on uh yeah, these are for thyroid support. This is on Amazon, but there was some other ones that was in particular. Uh, yeah, see, let me help y'all out. In the event that you want to get some or you concerned about it, potassium iodide. See, in a radiation emergency, it used to be backlogged. It looked like they got some more now, or it could be some cheap knockoff stuff that's somebody selling on Amazon. I'm not sure. But it says what you need to know. In a radiation emergency, some people may be told to take potassium iodide to protect their thyroid. Do not take K1 unless instructed by public health or emergency response officials or a healthcare provider. There are limits to who should use Ki and how much it can help. It only protects the thyroid from radioactive iodine and does not protect other parts of the body from other types of radiation. Um, or it might be KL, is recommended for only people under 40 and pregnant or breastfeeding people. So it's something that people are being told to use in the event that there's a nuclear fallout. So you see here how potassium iodide works. If you got the pills, there's liquids, right? It says KL does not keep radioactive iodine from entering the body and cannot reverse the health effects caused by radioactive iodine once the thyroid gland is damaged. So the radioactivity attacks the thyroid affects all the glands, and then it goes into the rest of your system. So they're saying that take the thyroid or take the potassium iodide before exposure, and it's supposed to help protect your thyroid. But once you're already hit, it doesn't like reverse it. But nonetheless, um, that's just a little fun fact for brothers and sisters that don't know about that. This is what he's referencing, and he's telling the people to stockpile this. Now, interesting enough, I mean, if you leave it to him and you leave it to the propaganda, Zelensky and them are supposed to be winning the war. They saying 30,000 troops, Russian troops is knocked down right now and all of that. Um, uh, he's lost a number of different generals. Um, that they're on the run. They ran up out of Kiev because they couldn't surrender it. But here he is up here begging for more help, begging for more money from the U.S. and from NATO, begging for more weapons, begging for more training, scared a nuclear attack is getting ready to hit. Uh, Telling the people, go get your radioactive pills. It's going down. Volodymyr Zelensky has urged his country to be ready for the worst case scenario, warning that Russia's potential use of nuclear weapons in the future cannot be ruled out. So I'm not going to read any more of this article for time's sake, but you can see here that the nuke talk has now got Zelensky even scared. But that was the purpose, whether Putin is waving a flag, a false flag, saying, "Hey, I might do this if you don't back down." And he may not be willing to do it. I mean, he's not going to bomb too close to himself. You're not going to bomb Ukraine because you're trying to take that back over as part of the USSR. You want to absorb that back into your own land. Plus, you're going to endanger, multiple people around there because of the nuclear fallout. So it only makes sense for him to launch them nukes outside of his area. Hence the NATO nations, America, so forth and so on. Now, unless they do a biological attack and maybe hit, the Ukrainians with it, that's more containable. But who knows? But we see here that the word on the streets in the Ukraine is, hey, stack up on the radiation pills because it could go down at any moment. All right, so let's move on. Syrian fighters are ready to join the next phase of the Ukraine war. Didn't we just read that in Ezekiel 38? Are they back, or am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. Yeah, well, Persia, but within Persia is Syria. If we remember, looking at the map. If we remember looking at the map, if we remember, let's just look at this one real quick because it'll. My bad, y'all. Let me blow this thing up. So here we see the Persian Empire. Who's included over here? Oh, Syria. There they go. They're ready to join in on the war. They're ready to go to the next level. Ready to join the next phase of the Ukraine war. On whose side, though? Oh, Russia's side. Why? Because they're part of that Persian Empire. They're part of the Iranian conglomerate. During a visit to Syria in 2017, Vladimir Putin lavished his praise on the Syrian general whose division played an instrumental role in defeating insurgents in the country's long-running civil war. The Russian president told him his cooperation with Russian troops, quote, will lead to great success in the future. So they're maintaining a relationship. Syria is joining the ranks of the fights. The Ethiopians are lining up, trying to get in. You know, Iran has already vowed that they're not riding with NATO and America. They're riding with Russia. Afghanistan is you. We already know whose side they on if they ever get made to choose. They got their own problems right now, but if they ever get made to choose, guess who they gonna fall in line with? They over here. Look, Afghanistan's there. Pakistan is there. Pakistan said they were gonna join in. So all these you already know. This is all part of the prophecy. They're all gonna be involved. Okay. So no surprise that we see these type of headlines as of April 17th. That's earlier this week. New ultimatum: Ukraine-Russia war live. Bloodthirsty Putin. See how they throw that out there? Bloodthirsty. As if the headlines aren't for real about Russian. See, now I got to go prove it. Hold on. They saying, oops. Look at this. On the run. So who's being bullied at this point? They're saying Putin is bloodthirsty, right? Hmm? On the run. Now I thought we went even Esau's law. They say that you can't defend if you're defending your home. If somebody runs out and leaves, you can't pursue them and you can't shoot them in the back. At that particular point, you become the aggressor. You become a murderer or manslaughter, whatever the case may be. The Most High says the same thing. If somebody gets caught, they still in the dark. You can defend your house. If it's broad daylight, they get out. You can't kill them. You got to be able to pursue them for justice. This headline says, "On the run: How Ukrainian fighters are slaughtering." Hello. Putin's troops with deadly ambushes as U.S. claims 30,000 soldiers killed or captured. So, who's really bloodthirsty? Who's really out here? If those headlines are true, that's what I'm saying. We see how they flip the script. Bloodthirsty Putin. You would think that the roles are reversed. That he then killed 30,000 Ukrainians, and he's going for more. As everywhere they're escaping, he's chasing them down, slaughtering them. Now, if the roles are reversed and they're saying that the Russians are actually losing more troops than the Ukrainians and they're fleeing and the Ukrainians are out there pursuing them and killing them, who's bloodthirsty? I mean, where are we at with this whole Twilight Zone madness, man? This is the ridiculousness that's going on here. So anyway, Ukraine-Russia war live. Bloodthirsty Putin offers a new surrender deadline in Mariupol as situation remains severe. So if Zelensky is talking about be prepared, we need to get uh, uh, radiation pills. U.S. send us more money. We need help down here. He's out here condemning NATO for not living up to their word and trying to join in, condemning America for not helping. He's playing the role as if, hey, I'm getting destroyed out here. We're dying. You said you had our back. How come we're losing ground? And then the news says, no, you're not. You killed 30,000 troops. 12 of their generals is dead. You're chasing them out of your major cities. Where are we at with this war? Who's telling the truth? Now, here's a here's an aspect where they're saying Mariupol, I believe, is in eastern Ukraine that they're trying to go conquer. Russia's making moves and taking that over. Now, it says Ukrainian fighters in Mariupol have been offered a fresh ultimatum to surrender despite not a single soldier accepting the offer on Tuesday. So the Russians are being diplomatic. They're saying, hey, surrender, drop your arms, give up, and we won't kill you. They say no. The Russian Defense Ministry has given an offer to those who are in the industrial complex in the besieged port city of Mariupol, according to a Reuters report. The Russian Defense Ministry said Russia's armed forces, based purely on humanitarian principles, again proposed that the fighters of the nationalist battalions and foreign mercenaries cease their military operations from 1400 Moscow time on April 20th and lay down their arms. So on 420, while the Negroes and Hispanics was out there getting high and celebrating their damn weed holiday, we're talking about warfare going on in what could be the ignition of a third world war. And it says Russian armed forces, this is their defense ministry is saying, oh, we're purely acting on humanitarian principles. Oh, we wanted them to lay down their arms and stop tripping. A similar offer had been made on Tuesday, but according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, not one soldier surrendered. Russian-backed fighters are reportedly trying to storm the Azovstal Steelworks in Mariupol, where Ukrainian troops and civilians are said to be holding out. So you decide where we're at. But we do see here, just the headlines alone is BS. Okay. Putin's troops warn Mariupol civilians they will be shot if they do not wear white ribbons, as Zelensky offers to exchange Russian POWs for their freedom. So who's negotiating now? I thought Zelensky had the upper hand. I thought he was out here destroying and killing and running wild, and he's out here saying, "Well, listen, let's have a diplomatic exchange. The POWs that we got of your troops, man, I'll give you them back, man. Just give me my troops and my people. Let them go." He's out here being diplomatic. Doesn't sound like he's out here destroying and chasing down anything. So you decide where we're at with it. Mariupol official said Putin's troops have threatened to open fire on civilians who did not wear white ribbons. Ukraine Marine Sergei Volnya warned troops in Mariupol facing their last days after they refused to surrender. Up to 2,000 people, mostly women and children. Of course, there's always mostly women and children. Where are all the men at? You tell me it's 2,000 women and children just living in the city and no men are there? Hardly. Good Lord. If they don't stop with the madness. Are holed up in a steel plant without supplies of food. So, the propaganda, it's only women and children over here. Of course, let's tug on the heartstrings of America, NATO, and, the world. Putin is going in there. They're going to rape all the women, enslave the children. That's going to play out, right? So in this one city, in a steel plant, it's mostly just women and children there. No men are there. No troops. Didn't I just say there was troops there? Uh, Ukrainian fighters in Mariupol have been offered a fresh ultimatum to surrender, despite not a single soldier accepting the offer. Now they're saying it's mostly just women and children there. I thought there was troops there. Okay, all right. Let me move on before YouTube says it's misinformation. They're holed up in a steel plant with no supplies of food. Okay. Russia issues a new warning to Sweden and Finland over joining NATO as polls shows 57% of Swedes now want to sign up, and Finland today begins debating whether to join because while they're going to create an alliance with Russia's enemies, that's going to make them now enemies of Russia. Uh, the close proximity of Sweden and Finland would put them at a danger of being um a threat to Russia. So Russia's saying, "Hey, you go join. You know what that means? We're gonna be enemies now, and you're close enough for me to bomb. Don't do it. Stay neutral. Stay out of it." But Sweden and Finland are now getting ready to try to join NATO. So they're up to 57% of the Swedes. They want to join. Finland is debating whether or not they're going to join it. And these are usually peaceful countries. Sweden and Finland, man, they don't get smoked with nobody. But for protection's sake, because they just saying, well, you know what, let me weigh our odds. Do we stay neutral and be cool with everybody, or do we just go join up with NATO? Because NATO's saying, man, this is the wave over here. Get with us. We'll protect you. You're going to be part of the alliance. You're going to be part of the beast system officially. Come on in. Russia's saying, don't do it. 57%. Okay, we read that. Russia has issued a fresh warning to Finland and Sweden over joining NATO as the two countries draw closer to becoming part of the military alliance. Maria Zakharova, spokesman for Russia's foreign ministry, said today that both countries have been informed what will lead to if they abandon decades-old neutrality agreements and become NATO members. You see that? They've been neutral. They've been staying impartial. They're leaving it alone. Now they're saying we're going to choose sides. We're riding with NATO now, Russia. We're going to actually say that we got smoke with you that we never had before. You're going to inherit a beef. And Russia's saying, hold on, I thought we was cool. We never had no problem before. Now all of a sudden you picking sides? Okay. We have issued all warnings, both publicly and through bilateral channels, she told the Reuters 24 state media channel. They know about it. They will have nothing to be surprised about it. They were informed about everything. So, in other words, she's saying They knew about the dangers that was going to be happening with the Ukraine conflict. They were fully aware of what measures Russia was going to take, and now they're acting like they ain't know, and this was all a surprise. And now they're under the seduction of the beast to join leagues. But Russia's saying you might want to double think that. So Russia's just amping up the beef. They just saying if any whoever's not with us, you're against us. In other words, that's the stance Russia's taking. Revealed U.S. maritime surveillance plane was over the Black Sea minutes before Russian flagship Moskva was hit by Ukrainian missiles. Really? So the U.S. provided surveillance of where this Russian flagship was, and all of a sudden Ukrainian missiles come flying. So again, is America involved in this war? Did they provide intelligence to the Ukrainians to bomb this ship that was out there? Imagine that. Well, let's hold on. Let me see Ecclesiasticus 28. See, this is the problem with America, man, and Esau in general. Sirach 28 and 14, it says, a backbiting tongue hath disquieted many. We know what it is to backbite. It's when you're speaking ill of or talking down or condemning someone who's not present. You're basically talking behind their back, right? And framing an opinion, you're doing what you need to do to coerce the minds of anybody else to be against, to think about this individual or people's or nations wrong, right? Let's make sure we understand because we know that's against the law. We know that's against the laws of the Most High. It's according to Romans, what is it? Romans 1, I think at 28. We know about tail bearing and all of that. See that? We'll just look at this real quick. Backbiting is a tail or tail bearing is to slander someone in their absence, to bite them behind their back. Originally, backbiting referred to an unsupporting attack from the rear in the blood sport of bear baiting. But we see what it is. A person who supports someone or something, especially with money, the backer of that ain't it. What are you talking about? To say unpleasant and unkind things about someone who is not there. That's backbiting. All right. So when the scriptures say that a backbiting tongue has disquieted many, the disquiet means to take away peace from somebody, to cause a disruption to somebody who's at peace or what have you, right? So somebody that backbites or someone that disrupts the peace, people backbite in order to disrupt the peace. So when we're looking at all these propaganda headlines, there's a lot of backbiting that's going on. We see all the publicity photos with slow Biden and Biden and Putin together, shaking hands, sitting down, meeting. Putin shaking hands with the Chinese. Everything seems cool, and then when they go behind closed doors, they talking about each other like dogs. And now what? It disquieted many, meaning what? It disrupts the peace. It causes war. It causes issues. So here we go. A backbiting tongue have disquieted many. So we know America is good for slander. America is good for propaganda. America is good for backbiting. They done it to us our whole entire damn time being here captives, smiling in your face and then stabbing you in the back. Oh yeah, we're gonna give you reparations. Oh yeah, we're gonna give you 40 acres and a mule. Oh yeah, don't worry. We're gonna make sure that you're taken care of and you're gonna get everything that you need to be equal here. I mean, all of them lies. And then behind closed doors, yeah, the niggas don't get nothing. We're not giving them any reparations. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. I mean, didn't Slow Biden do that at the 100-year anniversary of Black Wall Street? He said we're not even talking about reparations. That's not on the table. We're not even dealing with that. Don't bring it up. You niggas already voted me in. I got the crown. I'm not surrendering it. And I'm not gonna be threatened by the black vote no more. Because you niggas were stupid enough to vote for me. So now when the primaries is coming around now, well, he's out there signing over the bill. Oh, the anti-lynching bill. Yeah, I'm back on you niggas team again. Here. Well, lynching is a federal crime. That's terrible. Oh, you need more stimulus? Well, we know he can't do that. Not with the inflation rate. So what's he doing? Oh, we'll give a universal basic income. How about that? We'll make sure that the state's got enough money, man, to give you niggas free money for a couple years. Just make sure you vote Democrat on the primaries. Oh, you can't breathe? You want to take your mask off? Okay, sure, we can do that. And then behind closed doors, you still a nigga, you still a spig, you still a wetback. You know, you're still being killed in the streets. You still got systematic racism lined up all over the place. You still got the prison industrial complex locking us up and throwing away the key, profiteering um, off of our incarcerations. I mean, that's backbiting. It's disquieted many and driven them from nation to nation. Strong cities have they pulled down and overthrown the houses of great men. So we see how backbiting leads to wars, has nations fighting against nations, strong cities getting torn down, overthrown in the houses of great men. So this is why we see the propaganda, the news medias, and the Mockingbird press and everybody else running around here creating these terms, bloodthirsty Putin. And in the meanwhile, you look at the next headline: the Ukrainians is out here done killed 30,000 Russian troops, generals, and the whole nine, chasing them up out of cities, and they're saying, "Give us more money, more weapons." I mean, who's telling the truth about an individual's character? What's going on? So here we see what's going on with this whole scenario. 1 minute they're talking about America saying we're not involved in the war. We're only going to defend NATO-backed countries. And then meanwhile, okay, well, let's fly over here. Let's utilize our surveillance systems and let's drop a dime over here. Hey, yeah, that bloodthirsty Putin ship is over here. Go bomb them. And the Ukrainians go over there and bomb the hell out of it. And they're taking credit for the sinking of that ship. But where'd they get the intelligence from? Oh, America. So America is involving themselves in this war. It's being fought by proxy right now. They're not hands on. They're not, it's white lies. We're not sending any troops into Ukraine. Slow Biden said that a million times. But he said, I didn't say that we wouldn't send the troops over there to train them. I didn't say we wouldn't, go over there and provide intelligence and surveillance to help them bomb them. I didn't say we wouldn't give them money. I didn't say we wouldn't give them weapons and train them. But we're not sending troops over there. We're not going to be fighting in the Ukraine. See, that's the white lie that he does. So America got involved, man. We take note of this. Now it's on Russia to say, well, if you got this information, man, well, are you going to do something to the U.S. now? See, after this happened, that's when they went and launched that damn Satan 2 missile. So either Putin is going to go ahead and say, okay, you know what, enough of this madness. We got to act, or we just going to look like some punks throughout history. A P-8 Poseidon surveillance aircraft was patrolling the coast before the attack. The high-tech jet can spot ships on radar at ranges of more than 100 miles. Ukraine sunk Moscow after firing 2 Neptune anti-ship missiles on April 13th. So they only done that because America provided the intelligence. So America's involved in this war. The nuclear czar, Kremlin insiders fear isolated and paranoid Putin will turn to nukes to defeat the Ukraine and stop a palace coup. So now they're saying that he's paranoid, he's shelled up somewhere, and he may just push the button at any particular point in time. If you leave it to these headlines, time will tell if this is all true and if he does do it. I mean, if it is, if it's like I said, if it's as bad as they saying it is, why wouldn't he push the panic button? We'll see. Palestinians clash with Israel police at the Jerusalem holy site, 57 injured. They've been warned over there in our damn land, man, because Ramadan and Passover are all falling within the same month. They've been having their whole little holy war, man, fighting in our land, man, the damn heathen, disrupting every damn thing. But that's prophecy too. Isaiah 1. Look at verse 7. For your country is Isaiah 1 and verse 7. For your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate and overthrown by strangers. Do you see that? Palestinians and Israelis over there fighting, throwing rocks, stabbing and fighting and doing what they can all over our land. And our country's desolate. We're not there. Burned with fire, there's ignitions of fire, guns going off, the police killing people. It's going down over there. So there's another miniature war jumping off again over there in Israel. So wars, rumors of wars. Imagine that. Are we on point with the prophecy? Are we on time right now? Are things perilous? You damn sure you better believe it. Look at this. Lamentations 5. It says, remember, O Lord, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers. Our houses to aliens. Well, guess what? Our inheritance, our land inheritance, the dividing up of the land to the tribes and all of that's gone. Turn to strangers. The Palestinians, the Ishmaelites is over there. The fake Revelation 2 and 9 people is over there. Our houses are turned to aliens. And what are they doing over there? Throwing rocks and fighting and causing the disturbance in our land. Palestinians clashed with Israeli police at Jerusalem at the holy site. 57 people are injured. So they've got a whole little, war going on over there. At least 57 Palestinians were injured in clashes with Israeli police within the Al-Aqsa mosque compound in Jerusalem on Friday. Medics said as violence persisted during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan at a site also revered by Jews. See how they're fighting over our land? Both of them fighting over the holy sites, saying it's our turn to worship, it's our Passover. They're saying no, it's Ramadan. We're supposed to be worshiping over here. And then they get into clashes, and the police end up beating the hell out of the damn Palestinians. In what may presides a wider conflict, Israel said 2 rockets were fired from Gaza, one falling short and another striking across the border without damage. It was a third such incident this week, breaking months of relative calm on the Gazan front. So that's all I'm reading from that. But we see here what's going on. There's warfare. There's inciting uproars of the people happening over in that particular area of the country or the world, I should say. Okay, look at this. Chilling revelation: China could have soldiers, ships, and fighter jets on the Solomon Islands in weeks, putting Australia at extreme risk. So we've already talked about the South China Sea. China over there networking, trying to get close to engage with Taiwan. Australia, because of their relationship with NATO, America, and all that other stuff, they're put at risk. I covered a few weeks back, a couple months back, when they were over in the Solomon Islands and making um, peace pacts and money bribes over there to the Solomon Islands so that they could set up shop over there. And now they're doing it. And they said within weeks they could have ships, fighter jets, and all of that lined up so they can get acclimated for war. China finalizes a security pact with the Solomon Islands, sparking fears for Australia, expected to act quickly to establish physical foothold at Australia's doorstep. Experts believe the pact will lead to military base less than 2,000 kilometers from Australia. Chinese military troops, cargo planes, and ships to arrive in Honiara within a month. So Australia has been warned. Chinese military troops, ships, and aircraft could arrive in the Solomon Islands within weeks. There are growing fears China will act swiftly to establish a military base from Australian shores after a security pact with the South Pacific island nation was finalized on Tuesday. Security experts expect Beijing to have boots on the ground by the time Australians go to the polls next month. So there's another threat of war, or just just a threat that war could exist. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Wasn't that the title of last week's lesson? But look out Philly flip flop. Moving on to other things. And I'm gonna skip through this real fast because we know how they be listening. But when we're dealing with the vid and the BA.2, Philly said throw the mask back on. And now after some backlash, they acted a little too fast, and they said, "Well, okay, you don't have to wear them, but we're strongly encouraging." So it took 3 days for them to reverse it. So this is in Philly. Wearing masks indoors is strongly encouraged, but not required in Philly, right? So they switched it up within a week. But look here, L.A. County. Oh, here reinstates the mask mandate aboard public transit, rideshare, and LAX despite federal rules. So again, the narrative that has been pushed and that I've been saying is going to be happening as well as others. We expect some more mandates and possible lockdowns, whatever the case may be, after them primaries. It's coming later on down the line. So LA County said, despite what the CDC says, despite federal rules, you're masking up in public, or well, at least transportation. Not yet in the restaurants and in the malls and in the stores and all of that. They haven't put that back on yet. That'll be later. But they're already letting it be known. If you're on the bus, if you're going to the airport, train station, so forth and so on, masks stay on. It's reinstated. Same way Slow Biden reinstated the federal mandate for all federal employees to get poked by September. Or was it November? November 30th, I think, something like that, after the primaries. Slick, slick. But LA County reinstatements, so it's coming back slowly but surely. Look at this, mask forever. Oh, say it ain't so. That's the question. Blue cities like Philly, Boston, New York, and San Francisco are still making people wear masks in subways, buses, airports, despite federal courts striking down the CDC rules. We can listen. I would love to see what I because of the video that they took down. I need to look back on their community guidelines instead of medical misinformation that was said. And if y'all don't remember, the video, it was a video I did that says slow Biden, uh, uh, something. I think slow Biden has mandate for door to door pokes or something like that. And of course, they said that was medical misinformation. But on the guidelines, they tell you what you can and can't say. Obviously, because of some of these court rulings are being overturned, some of the scientists coming out saying, "Oops, we was wrong." I wonder if they updated their community guidelines to say, "Oh, we did say that wasn't accurate. Oh, now it is. Oh, can we take that off the guidelines? Can we take that off? Can we stop flagging channels for stuff that people said back a year ago, year and a half ago, 2 years ago that was right, and now that the CDC and Fauci and everybody else says, whoops, we were wrong." Are we getting redeemed for that? Are channels being given back for that? I need to find out because apparently they're still digging in archives, hoping to find something. So masks are still cracking in blue cities. In other words, democratic cities. They're trying to make sure everybody stays prepared for the next. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one there. Oh, look at that! Mask mandates return to U.S. college campuses as cases arise. Oh, don't say your brother was fear mongering and talking about, oh, that ain't it. We getting back to normal. White man told me so. White man's a damn devil and a liar. I thought I told you so. Or not me. The Most High said so. So look, college campuses. They saying, look, and look at the propaganda picture that they use in here. This is the same what they used during World War I and the strong woman and all that other stuff, right? This is evidence of Edward Bernays' propaganda campaign. They use the same picture, but they got a little band-aid there, acting like that's where she got poked in the arm. And he looked like some damn devil horns on here. I don't know what that is going on. But none. Oh, I guess it's the Liberty. Who knows what the hell's going on with the subliminal picture? Anyway, mask up in class. You see this picture. All individuals, regardless of jab status, must wear a non-cloth mask in a classroom. Okay, so it doesn't matter, poked or not, you're not safe. And we're putting the mandates back on. Mask up in class. U.S. college campuses are all doing that now. So is it back? Are they coming back slowly but surely? Yes, they are. I said so. I told y'all. Here they come. Now they're going on the witch hunt. They're still double back trying to find out who's trying to escape the system, who's trying to deceive the beast. Dozen of NYC teachers investigated over fake jab cards. Oh, now here's the deal. Let's just say 80% of the teachers got fake ones. Are you gonna fire them? What are you gonna do? The whole system will collapse. What are you gonna do? New York Department of Education is placing dozens of educators on unpaid leave to investigate whether they try to use fake jab cards to meet city requirements to continue working in the school system. School spokesperson Nathaniel Steyer said fraudulent jab cards are not only illegal, they also undermine the best line of protection our schools have against the vid. Universal adult jabs, right? Is that really the best? When people that's getting poked are still super spreading, still testing positive, still going through the motions, still catching it? I mean, come on. Unbelievable. We immediately moved to put these employees, fewer than 100, on leave without pay. So, a little less than 100 teachers that are under investigation are already sitting back, leave without pay. So, they're double backing now, checking cars to see who got real ones, who got fake ones in certain cities, and penalizing those who try to escape. And if you did, you're going to have to repent. You're going to have to pay. You may get jail time. You may get fined. Or they may say, we're going to watch you get the real thing if you want to keep your job. So that oppression hasn't stopped, even though they're talking about, oh, we just gonna have to learn to live with it. Oh, we got to get back to normal. We can't let it defeat us. It's destroyed the economy. We ain't got to go. Why are they still pushing the same narrative then? Why does it matter at this point in time to say, oh, y'all have fake cars? Damn it, y'all got over. It is what it is. I mean, we've moved on. We'll leave it alone. Keep your jobs and let's keep it moving. No, because the agenda's still the same. They're not letting that slide. Let's move on. Emergency alert after rail carriers cancel grain shipments. CF Industries warns fertilizer shipments are now being halted during the spring planting. So, again, this is going to show how incoming famine is going to be affecting the farmers, the food supplies, the agriculture for the animals to eat. Fertilizer, as been said before, is being halted. Prices are going up on fertilizer to produce those crops and all of that. You know, they had a story that was going around on Twitter, and I think there's some mainstream articles about it. I had seen it earlier this week. They said that 18 food and meat processing plants in the last 18 months have gone on fire. Coincidence? Plan? Agenda driven? You decide. Let me see if I can find something real quick on that, because I did see it earlier this week. It's almost like one a month. See, multiple large food processing and distribution plants in the U.S. have recently exploded or burned down. Can you imagine? And then you wondering, is this a plan to destroy the food supply? There go one right here, coming up at 11. K-On! News 5. Crews struggle to keep up with the raging fire, Taylor Farms in Salinas. Food processing plants blowing up, being destroyed. Fertilizer plants being cut off. Salinas, California. This is meat packing plants, food. See, look, just weeks before that, a massive fire engulfed a Walmart distribution center in Plainfield, Indiana, where over 1,000 employees shipped food and other supplies all over the region. The fire destroyed a massive 1 million square foot of the operation. I mean, what's going on? Bird flu out there, destroying the eggs, killing off. They got to kill millions of chickens now. And here they are talking about fertilizer now, shipments. are being halted during the spring season where the planting is supposed to be happening. We're supposed to be planting right now to start reaping during the summer. All the spring crops, the spring shipments that farmers and everybody's expecting, not happening. Diesel fuel going up, shutting down, a lot of the trucking that's happening. So we're talking real famine, real issues of food supply chains being shut down, damn food and meat packing plants being destroyed. All within the last 18 months, 18 of them on caught fire, caught either major damage or minor damage, halting up supplies to get to the people. I'm not gonna say. You decide whether or not it's preconceived or is this just a coincidence. This is the plants that being destroyed and burned. That just happens out of nowhere. Emergency alert. You see the headline. According to an April 14th announcement from CF Industries, Union Pacific is halting the delivery of fertilizer shipments right in the middle of peak planting season for farmers. So what's that mean? I mean, just as this is going on and all of this is happening, remember Bill Gates bought up all of the damn land. He's the largest um, farm owner in the world or in the country, I should say. So he can line up all of his little GMO crops and say, "Oh, you can't get fertilizer." Well, guess what? I've got my food supplies over here. Want to taste? In the middle of the peak planting season for farmers, CF Industries warns that, quote, railroad mandated shipping reductions will result in nitrogen fertilizer shipment delays during the spring's application season, and that it will be unable to accept new rail sales involving Union Pacific for the foreseeable future. They said they don't know when they can get it back going again. Unable to accept new rail sales involving Union Pacific for the foreseeable future. Even more alarmingly, CF Industries warns that it is one of the only 30 companies to face these restrictions. So look, even if you're homesteading and you're at home, I mean, unless you know about composting and you got your own thing going, that's cool. And Lord willing, that helps sustain. But for anybody that's just starting off or relying upon fertilizers for your growth for your gardens at home and all of that, that's going to be expensive, let alone the potential of that resource being cut off could be there. Because Lord knows the grounds right now as it stands ain't strong enough with the depletion of minerals and the soil contents and all of that all down. Regular dirt, you can't just go dig up and just be like, okay, I'm gonna start planting here. It needs help. You're gonna need that compost. You're gonna need extra fertilizer to help that ground get nutrients and everything in it to help your plants and your crops grow. It ain't working just on its own. That's out. The earth has been destroyed, man. So now they're even saying, even those of us or those who do have gardens and everything, it might be affecting that. So we're saying they're already saying when it's time for the farmers to plant, you missed the springtime, it's over with. You can't start planting late and hope that them crops catch up. These are seasonal crops that you have to start getting in time. That's why everything is built around the cycles and the cycles and the seasons of the years. The earth is reflective of that. The sun, the cold, the ground conditions, all of that. The farmers, the almanac, the ones who create the farmers almanac, they know and understand all of that. And if you miss this season right now for the spring, there's going to be a lot of crops that's going to come up short this year and for the foreseeable future, as we just seen. This is a quote from the company that ships out the fertilizer. CF Industries ships to customers via Union Pacific Rail Lines primarily from its Donaldsonville complex in Louisiana and its Port Neal complex in Iowa. The rail lines serve key agricultural areas such as Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, Nebraska, Texas, and California. And if you remember, I did a DSTM last year about how many crops and fruits and stuff come from California that um, America depends on. It's like 16 different crops, fruits, seeds that come from California that is going to be hindered now. Let alone, we ain't talking about Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, Kansas, Texas, all the rest of them. Products that will be affected include nitrogen fertilizers such as urea and urea ammonium nitrate, as well as diesel exhaust fluid and emissions control product required for diesel trucks. CF Industries is the largest producer of urea, UAN, and DEF in North America, and its Donaldsonville complex is the largest single production facility for products in North America. So diesel fuel is going to be affected, fertilizer is going to be affected. All of this is happening from this spring into the summer. And it says they won't be able to use the same rail lines for the foreseeable future. So there's no telling how they're going to get this stuff back. Famine in the land. China's brutal Shanghai lockdown is worsening the global food supply crisis. Food supply chain crisis. Retailers warn a video shows bags full of cats ready for slaughter in the city after their owners caught the vid. What you think they're gonna do with them cats? What you think? They saying, oh, we got to round up the cats and the dogs because the owners had the vid, and the cats may have it. Y'all know Moab. And if you see the video and the pictures, man, they got cats in these damn mesh bags, rounding them all up. And aren't they struggling over there talking about how hungry they are? I'm just saying. Be it far from Moab to chop up and cook up some cat. Hmm? Where the Christians at? What's wrong with that? Don't turn your nose up. The dietary law is done away with. Remember, all things are good as long as they be received with thanksgiving. Remember that? Don't y'all use that in Timothy? Oh, okay. China's brutal Shanghai lockdown is worsening global food supply chains. Crisis. Retailers warn as a video shows bags full of cats ready for the slaughter in city after their owners caught the vid. Shanghai remains in lockdown as China pursues a brutal zero vid strategy. Shutdown has caused huge backlogs of cargo ships, threatening supply chains. So again, that's going to be part of the problem too, because all them things that's made in China, they ain't coming up out of China right now. That's going to be part of more of the supply chain crisis that's happening and that we're experiencing right now. UK retailers warned today that will cause months long delays and drive up costs. Meanwhile, residents suffer. A video emerged showing cats crammed into sacks, allegedly waiting to be culled because their owners caught the vid. I mean, that's how maddening Moab is. If the owner has the vid or tested positive, even if they're asymptomatic, no symptoms and all of that, they taking their damn pets, in particular these cats. Cause they saying, oh, the cat might have it. We need to take it and kill the cats. You know they finna cook them things up. I don't have no proof of that. So don't strike me down, YouTube. Listen, it's a joke. It's a joke. Not really. China's brutal lockdown, right? Okay, worsening the global food supply chains as the city ports clog up, threatening to cause delays and shortages while also driving up prices in Britain. Retailers have warned the city, which is home to the world's largest container port, has now been in strict lockdown since late March, causing huge backlogs to build up hundreds of cargo vessels stranded offshore. So we see what's happening there. I'm not going to read the rest of this for time's sake. But Shanghai and China, they still got a crazy lockdown going on over there. Now they're rounding up the cats, putting the cats to death. Lord knows what they're going to do with them. Shanghai further tightens restrictions after weeks of strict lockdown. They're going even harder, as if it's not already locked down over there. Millions of people, I think they said 40 million people locked down, man, in their homes. They can't escape. I seen videos of them sealing the doors. They're running up with welding equipment, welding doors shut so that they can't escape. There's videos of, man, these gooks jumping out the windows, committing suicide because they can't eat. They're tired of being locked down, jumping out windows. I've seen it all. I don't have the. Let me see if I can find one, just in case y'all think up. See that? China leading citizens to jump from balconies in quest to achieve vid zero. I don't know if y'all need to see anybody jumping out, but that's going on. Okay. And they're saying the answer is tighten up even more in China. Why do we cover this? You say, oh, that's China over there, man. Moab is crazy. Because Moab is the instruction manual for the rest of the damn world. This is ultimately how they really want things in place under the new global structure, new world order, new global reset, build back better. That whole campaign. See, China's already up on it, man. They already got the digital yuan. They already got, trying to lock down the finances, trying to get their military bases set up around the world. They trying to be like White Zaddy. They want to be like America. And since they have such a subservient population who can't arm themselves, they can lock them down even further. Authorities in Shanghai have further tightened restrictions on the movement of residents in some districts and warned its 25 million inhabitants that strict measures would continue until the vid was eradicated, neighborhood by neighborhood. They know that that's impossible. They're saying that this is not going to stop until we have zero vid positive tests in the whole damn district slash country. So they're saying until all 25 million people is test negative, we're not stopping. That's impossible when you got these damn testers showing false negatives and false positives and all kind of man. That's not going to happen. So in other words, it's going to continue forever over there. After 3 weeks of stringent lockdown that has fueled discontent in China's largest metropolis, some districts were told that restrictions would be tightened even when they met the criteria for people to be allowed to leave their homes. Our goal is to achieve community zero vid as soon as possible, the government said, referring to a target to stamp out transmission outside quarantine areas. This is an important indication that we win this major hard battle against the epidemic so that we can restore normal production and life order. No, they sell the same they sell the same trash. Or we're going to return to normal and life back in order. So let's say somehow China throws out some propaganda and says, hey, look, everything that we was able to do, we finally reached zero vid transmissions. Don't you think that's going to be an inspiration for the rest of the world? China finally defeated the virus. China finally did it. We need to do what they did. I think Dr. Oz said that. Dr. Oz said, hold on. Mm, I thought it was him. Let me see if this is the one.
The Director General of the World Health Organization condemning governments worldwide today, stressing the need for urgent escalation in testing. Coronavirus has now killed more people outside of China than inside where the virus originated. What are the biggest obstacles right now to curbing the outbreak and flattening the curve, which we've been hearing so much about?
I think countries have to learn the lessons of Italy and Korea. It's the tale of two countries is pretty clear. South Korea took proactive steps early on. They have a healthcare system that could keep up with the flow of patients, and they've had a mortality rate that's 1/10 that of Italy. And the Chinese numbers have dropped dramatically, which is fantastic news. And it's also valuable for us to understand why they were able to do that. If you look inside of Wuhan province, they had a catastrophe. But outside the province, which of course they quarantined in the largest movement of its nature ever, 60 million people blocked in that space. But the rest of the country was relatively spare. They didn't have the big spikes, the huge crises that Wuhan experienced, and it took the country to in a very different direction. We just have to copy what they did. Take their
You heard that? That was the beginning of the outbreak in 2020. But his advice is copy what they did. So this is why I say, when you see this is what their essential think tanks are saying. If they have results in leading to zero testings and low transmissions and all the other stuff, their thinking is copy what they did then. So you see it here. This is what they're doing. Now, of course, Dr. Oz is a damn celebrity doctor and all the other stuff, but clearly they were bringing him in as an expert, jumping on these little talking media heads. And if he's utilizing as an expert, why wouldn't they take his advice? I mean, Donald Trump, he just endorsed Dr. Oz, talking about he should be, considered for the next health administrator, some madness for the next presidency. I mean, you give him an opportunity to sit up in that seat, man. Dr. Oz, you hear his thinking. Follow the goose. Look at this. So, in other words, going back to this, we see where it's headed. This is what they want everybody to do. If it's successful, this is going to be the game plan moving forward. Lock everybody down, take your pets, starve you out, you know, be completely submissive to the beast. You try to escape, it's jail time. You're getting put in camps. Kids are being separated from homes. I mean, everything's going on over there. Look, the IMF warns of unrest amid looming global food crisis. I mean, the IMF doesn't have to warn you that. The Most High did. How many times we got to read Second Ezra 15? How many times we got to read Second Ezra 9, Second Ezra 16 before people get it, right? Uproars of the people, famine coming in the land, people invading their neighbor's home for lack of bread. Now the International Monetary Fund warns of unrest amid looming global food prices. So now you've got an authority on global economics, an authority. The IMF is the same conglomerate of Edomites who run around here loaning money to third world countries, taking it over, colonizing them, implanting their own leaders or whatnot, puppet leadership. They're coming out saying, look, we network with all the third world countries. There's going to be hell on earth because of the food crisis. We see and know we're not bailing them out. Money can't solve the issue because the food's not available. Because we got a the supply chains is jacked up. It ain't like we can just say, here, how much do you need? Whatever third world country, how much you need? You need a loan? Cool. We'll give you $5 trillion. We'll give you $10 billion to help get your economy back up and help you get your food up. What good is that when the food ain't there? What good is that when you're competing with other nations that's surrounding you? They all want and need food too. So the Middle East, they going through it because they were heavily relying upon Ukraine's and Russia's breadbasket to help fund feed them. Middle East is struggling. Africa's struggling. Um, it's starting to taper off into different countries in Europe right now. America's still holding fast because America's still quote unquote the land of milk and honey. We've still got resources over here. We still got GMO. We still got all the madness over here that you can go ahead and make Franken foods, and people will still settle for less and eat it to survive. So this place is gonna get hit last. But as we see the rest of the world collapsing, we'll know that it's eventually gonna hit everywhere. So the IMF is acknowledging that the glooming food crisis is gonna lead to unrest, man. Civil war. People's gonna be fighting and killing for food in the near future. The crisis unfolds even as the global economy has not yet fully recovered. The IMF has issued a warning regarding looming global food shortages, saying that the vulnerable nations are at risk of civil unrest amid supply issues. The global body predicted civil unrest linked to sky high food prices is on the cards for poorer countries as the world heads into a global food crisis as a result of the ongoing conflict in the Ukraine. Amid past warnings of starvation and, quote, hell on earth, migrant crises, over a lack of food, the international finance body has predicted that growth across the world will be negatively affected, with poorer nations in particular to feed the brunt of the ongoing crisis. Look at that. So food prices, food shortages, man. Poor countries, third world countries, they're going to start fighting and killing, going to war. Uh, Look at that. UN warns a number of people starving to death could double amid the pandemic. So not only are we talking the pandemic, but we're just talking about just in general the offset of what happened between the pandemic. Look, 130 million people could starve because of lockdowns. That's just because of the damn lockdowns. The results of that was leading to, there was another headline I was looking for that it said over 200 million people. Wow, I said 278 million, maybe not. Mm, trying to see what that one was. Is it? Let's see. United Nations news as famines of biblical proportions loom. Security Council urged to act fast. So we see here. I mean, now the IMF is talking about food crises and civil unrest is yet to come in poorer countries, third world countries, because of everything that's happening in the earth. Mainly because the Most High said famine was coming to the land. Okay, let me look at that real quick a second. Ezra 16, I think it is. I think it's 16, 17, maybe. Mm, yeah, look at this. Second Ezra 16, and we're gonna read 18, 19. Okay, it says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? I mean, this is everything Ezra was being revealed to. And he's saying this is the end, this is everything that's gonna be happening. And here we are in 2022 and moving forward and beyond uh everything that we're seeing. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. What isn't that what Yahweh Shai said? He said that these are the beginning of sorrows. Wars, rumors of wars, nation rising against nation, earthquakes in diverse places, so forth and so on. He said these are the beginning of sorrows. And what did Ezra compound that with? He said the beginning of famine and great death. What do we keep reading about and seeing? Famines of biblical proportions, civil unrest because of the lack of food supplies and all of that. That's all going on right now. Famine, great death, the beginning of wars. What happened here? The beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. See, and that's where we're at with it. Global food crisis. IMF now is warning. There ain't nothing they can do about it. They just telling everybody get ready. Look at it. Biden's global migrant crisis. 5,000 Ukrainians. 32,000. 396 from Cuba, 5,000 from India, 1,989 from China were among 249,198 stopped trying to enter the U.S. in March as pressure grows to delay lifting Title 42. Why'd I bring this out? Because if you leave it to the mainstream media, all the migrants is all, Hispanics. So everybody, all the Hispanics is Mexicans, Salvadorians, Guatemalans, Peruvians, whatever. You leave it to them. They're the only ones beating down the doors trying to crash up in here. Yes, they have the greatest number. However, there's plenty of other nations over there, man, that's trying to get up in there, and they not highlighting them. They're sliding them in. They're letting them in. Meanwhile, demonizing every Hispanic that's trying to get on over here. Every Haitian trying to get on over here. That's the slanted way in the media, man. How they sit back and propagandize the plight of our curses. That's why I said they sit back and acknowledge and see our cursings, take advantage of it, and then say we didn't do it. It was the Lord that did it. But here they are doing this type of madness. So look, this is as of March. Just look at the numbers. again, yes, the majority is Hispanics, right? But look, you got 3,600 coming from Canada, almost 1,000 from Romania, 5,000 coming from Ukraine, 2,600 coming from Russia, 2,300 from Turkey, almost 2,000 coming from China, 5,000 from India, 4,700 coming from the Philippines, and there's 14,000 that they're not even acknowledging who and where they're coming from. They could have come from Africa. They could be coming from other European nations. But all they want to highlight is, oh no, the damn Hispanics is trying to get on over here and crash the wall, and they trying to swim over the Rio Grande, the wetbacks. But meanwhile, hello, aren't there other nations trying to get over here too? Are there other nations that's coming over here illegally though? Look, they trying to creep on over here too, and we just got to seeing last week the articles where they were showing that the Ukrainians was getting preferential treatment, carte blanche. Come to the front of the line. You expect your niggas get back? No, we want them, and they're coming over here in droves. But this is just to show, the type of propaganda that's going on, man. It ain't just Israelites trying to get on over here. They leaving out the damn 2,000 Moabites and 4,700 from the Philippines, 26. Ukraine got over 5,000, and then they said there's a other 14,000. They ain't even saying who they are. So this is the type of slanted type of madness that they be doing. Hillsong, they back at it again. If y'all remember that church that's based out of Australia is become a little Hollywood synagogue for the Hollywood types. I know they said Justin Bieber, that was his church, and he was dragging in Jake's, trying to get them to go over there, and some other little Hollywood types. It's a church out of Australia. The head pastor over there in New York, he got caught up in a little cheating scandal. Then, if you remember, they had a Jake that opened up a branch down there in Atlanta, and he broke loose and was like, "I'm leaving. We're gonna go start our own church. There's just too much scandal going on. We wish everybody the best and all of that." But see, that's because he tried to mingle in with the damn white Christians and thought that he was gonna, make headway with this big old church. And now they're getting caught with another scandal. Hillsong Boston pastor and his wife are quit the church after he admits to sending racist texts to a congregant while she claims she was sexually abused by disgraced New York City pastor Carl Lentz. So the Hillsong Boston branch, the New York branch is the cat that see Carl Lentz. He was the New York pastor. He got caught in the whole little triangular sex scandal. And had to step down. Now the Boston preacher and his wife gotta be let go because he's sending racist texts to a congregant. And where is the Christian church? Where are the Christian apologists? Where are they at condemning the church? Because you know damn well when this folly goes on in Israel, Israelites be the first ones rebuking and correcting ourselves. We'll jump online, Jason jump online, man, and condemn somebody that did something wicked or whatever the case may be. We self-correct, man. We come in and we clean up our mess. Where they at? You don't see them out here doing nothing. You don't see them out here talking about that's not a true representation of the church. We condemn that church. We riding out. They ain't over there protesting and standing out in front of it. They letting it go. They letting it go. Do we ever see them going up and condemning the Catholic Church? No. Amidst all of their scandals? No. Let's show you how, man, the Christian church, man, is phony as hell. But they know if somebody slip up on our end, that we'd be the first ones to condemn somebody that did wrong. But we see here what's going on over there. Racist texts allowed to be sent, sexual immorality out of control. Look at this. Leona Kimes. Josh and Leona Kimes on Monday announced they were resigning from the Hillsong Church where they served as pastors in Boston. They did not give reasons for their decision to lead the scandal-hit Australian group. On Tuesday, it emerged that Josh Kimes had admitted that in an internal investigation sending a racist text to a member of the congregation. The New York leader of the group, Carl Lentz, was forced to resign in November 2020 when it emerged he had an affair with a jewelry designer. Leona Kimes worked for Lentz family as a nanny in 2021 and accused them of manipulation, controlling, bullying, abuse of power, and sexual abuse. Welcome to the Christian church. The white Christian church at that. where they allowed Negroes and Hispanics to come in and get seduced. And this was going on behind closed doors. Look, a student dies during the Jesus crucifixion reenactment as the audience thinks it's part of the show. This was in Nigeria. They was out here reenacting the Easter, Good Friday, and the whole shebang. See, that's what happens when you're following after religious dogma and phony holidays. When we all should know, everybody on here knows Easter is a sham. Easter is bogus. Bunnies don't lay eggs. Christ didn't rise up on Sunday. There is no Good Friday. All of that other is all madness. According to the scriptures, we know it's all rooted in paganism and Ishtar and everything else that comes along with it. I'm not going to do an Easter breakdown. Maybe we'll do that in the future. But everybody's locking in on here right now. You should already know. The propaganda and lies behind Easter is off majorly. And it's turned into a pagan custom that our people are rising up for Sunday morning service and getting your Sunday suits on and doing Easter egg hunts and all this other folly and buying up the baskets and everything else, involving yourself in pagan customs and worship. Don't even realize it. And here they are over there in Nigeria trying to reenact this whole scene. And no wonder this dude dies. And he wanted to become a priest. Most High said, it's not a joke. You're out of here. Trying to reenact a pagan custom and got put to death. Meanwhile, and then if you see the pictures, the damn cat that was impersonating Christ had a black stringy hair wig on, still trying to predict him as a damn white man. And of course, in Nigeria, so they're gonna have him be dark because they ain't had nobody play a white man. But I think they had a light skinned cat man, had a black wig on, down to. I mean, he deserved whatever happened to him. Sorry to say, but listen. Most I said, man, abstain from all appearances of evil. If they did the research and understood and knew that you was reenacting a whole pagan custom, a whole lie that you misinterpreted out the word of the Lord, and it wasn't correct. I mean, this cat just collapsed out of nowhere, started bleeding after he fell. People thought it was a joke, and then they still run around here with a fake a Nigerian Caesar Borgia. I mean, give me a break. South Africa had deploys 10,000 troops as flood disasters leave hundreds dead. So they had major flooding over in South Africa. They had to disperse 10,000 troops. You can see over here in the corner the damage that it done. This is from roads that got destroyed. You see the cars all engulfed in water, sunken. This looks just as bad or worse than Katrina. See, the judgment of the Lord is upon the earth right now. Heavy rains for 6 days triggered this. They said 45 people died, you see here, since the flood started. It says here 443 people in KwaZulu in South Africa. They get wiped out. So big floods happening, earthquakes still happening, war still happening, famine still happening, pestilence still happening. I mean, it's all still going down. This is going to be the new excuse. I'm going to have to say this one just in case. I can't come to the office because of inflation. Remote workers now claim skyrocketing cost of gas and childcare under the Biden administration is making it too expensive for them to commute as they fight to work from home. I agree. My commute to work is give or take in the morning because I start at 5 in the morning. In the morning, I can make it to work in less than 30 minutes, give or take. Coming home, it's about an hour and some change, depending on traffic. The cost of gas, the stop and go, car maintenance, everything else. The way that inflation is going, are you crazy? Yeah, it would definitely cause a problem. But see, that's what people are starting to pop up now in an effort to continue commuting. I mean, to stop commuting, working from home, so forth and so on. So, I mean, it's just becoming that bad. Well, people would rather just either quit or find a job closer to home so that they ain't got to commute, or find jobs that are remote. because you can't even afford to drive to work now. California, especially, they talking about the guy. We was just talking about that a couple weeks ago, man. Me and a couple brothers, and we was talking about, oh yeah, gas went down a little bit. It was like 5.59, something like now. Certain places you can get is 5.29. We're like, oh, it went down, but it's still 5.30. That ain't going down. See, that's how they mentally train us to make it seem like, oh, that's acceptable. No, we want it back into $3. We want it back into $2. That's going down. 20 cent, 30 cent down. That ain't nothing. And it's steady right there. And there's many places that's still over $6. That's the cheaper gas I'm talking about. Y'all know, all y'all that's out here, you know what time it is. But they sit back and drop it a little bit because slow Biden done open up the reserves, and now he went back and licensed the drillers to go back and try to start getting the fossil fuels and the gas back to hopefully reduce the cost. But it's still over $5. That ain't going down. Look at this. Outrageous Pennsylvania elementary school considers opening the after school satanic club for kids as young as 5 after greenlighting Bible study classes, but Satanists insist they'll only promote science and secularism. Now look into that. I'm not going to read this whole article, like I said, because it's for time constraints and whatnot. But notice this Pennsylvania, they trying to open up a satanic club for kids as young as 5. And they're saying, well, we got it right because you greenlit Bible study classes. But look at the underlying thing. The Satanists say that they're only going to promote science and secularism. So that lets you know that science in the forms that we see being promoted is satanic. If that's what they're promoting, if that's what they're saying, that's all we're going to promote. Because look, in secularism is what? Religious skepticism or indifference. We're going to teach against the Bible in all facets of quote unquote religious thought, and we're going to promote science. So, in other words, we're going to promote the Big Bang. We're going to promote that the Bible is temporary. We're going to make you question God. We're going to make all of that stuff. See, secularism is the principle of seeking to conduct human affairs based on secular, naturalistic considerations. It is most commonly defined as a separation of religion from civic affairs and the state, and may be broadened to a similar position concerning the need to remove or to minimize the role of religion in any public sphere. I got no problem with removing of religion because the Bible was never about religion. Religion is man made. You can have that. But what comes along with that is, well, we need to condemn the whole book that started all of these religions. We need to condemn the ideology that there is a God. Let's stick with the sciences. So that lets you know that everything that's coming from it has satanic influence because through their own words, that's what we'll teach. So sciences as we know it is Satan filled, and so is the ideology of secularism. But they want the kids, if they want to be able to have the Don't Say Gay bill and want to teach about gender and all that other stuff from kindergarten to the third grade, and then they also want to be able to institute Satanism into the schools. They've got the Baphomet statues being lined up, I think, in Kansas and in Oklahoma, or Detroit, I should say. I think it's Detroit and Oklahoma. I mean, this whole place is getting turned out, man. And you wonder why America's got to get hit. Nigga, autopsy reveals a white Michigan cop fatally shot a black man, Patrick Loyola, 26, in the back of the head while he was face down on the ground after a traffic stop. Now, I seen this video. The brother, he was out of pocket. He didn't attack the cop, but he was running. He was pushing, trying to get away. He wasn't following the orders, right? But still, the reason why this damn cop did it, because he tried to tase him. I think he either tased him or he missed. And the Jake, I don't know if he's a Jake. He might be. I don't know. He's from the Cameroon. Uh, but you can hear the officer talking about let go of the taser, let go of the taser. And next thing you know, he's struggling to wrestle him. He got the cop got on top of him, pulled out his gun, and next thing you know, you just hear the pop, right? So the question will remain is Could it have been handled better? Obviously so. The Edomite, he couldn't restrain this cat, man. He was too weak. Now, he wasn't attacking the cat. He wasn't trying to, beat him down or nothing, but he was trying to back him away and get him up off of him, get away, and they got to wrestling. Now, got to call a spade a spade. Could he have avoided going through all of the madness and stopped? Because the cop told him, hey, pull over. He got out the car. He told him, don't get out the car. Don't get out the car. I'm going to come to you. He gets out the car, closes the door. The cop says, okay, you out the car, whatever. You got a license. He started talking to him, and he was acting like he didn't understand English, but he understood English. He asked him if he had his license. He told him it was in the car. His buddy's in the car. He pulls up. He told him it's in the glove compartment. He never gets the license. He starts taking off running. I mean, at that point in time, you fair game. Not to get killed, but you've created a situation to where now you're going to have to be dealt with in another manner. Well, he could have just dealt with him accordingly. I mean, the cop wasn't. I gotta admit, the cop wasn't tripping. He just told him pull. He pulled him over. He told him, "No, stay in the car. Stay in the car. I'm coming to you." He gets out the car, close the door. So maybe it was a language gap because he did have an accent. But when he asked him, "Do you speak English?" the cat said, "Yeah." So he asked him, "Where's your license?" He told him it's in the car in the glove compartment. But he was asking him like, "What I do? What's the problem?" And he said that the plates that you got on your car don't belong to your car. So the question was it a stolen car? Um, Dude ran. They got to struggling, whatever. But the end of the matter is the cop shot him in the back of the head as he was on top of him. That clearly shows you that he murdered this dude. That's the bottom line. So another black man down. Zachariah 11-5 all day long. They won't even acknowledge the name of the cop in this article. But if y'all want to look at the video, judge for yourself. How you think it got handled. Look at. I think it's probably on YouTube. Patrick Loyola um, footage or the cop footage or whatever traffic stop footage, and you see for yourself. But the fact that he got shot in the back of the head and got put to death, that automatically lets you know, man, this dude was executed. All right, but let's move on. Look at this. They traumatized that boy with a bag of chips. Syracuse cops are accused of terrorizing a 10-year-old boy after he was suspected of stealing from a convenience store. I mean, look at this little dude's face. He must be gripping up on his damn arms or something, man, because he look in pain. Little kid, man, stole some chips. And the brother that's filming it, he like, man, what are y'all doing, man? Let him go, blah, blah, blah. And the cop turned around, the one that's got his back to him, he turned around and looked at him and telling him he was stealing. If somebody broke in your house and stole, what would you do? And he was like, nah, that ain't about that. He's like, man, he's a kid. You handle him like he's a grown man, snatched him up off the bike. He was like, man, if he stole some chips, I'll pay for the chips. Just let him, don't handle him like that. I'll buy the chips. The cops was, no, we ain't doing that. Threw him in the car. So they put him through hell, man. But what's the scripture say? He's not gonna regard the old or the young, right? In Deuteronomy 28. Um, let me get it. What is it? Deuteronomy 28 and is it 50? Let me see here. Yeah, let's look at this. Deuteronomy 28 and 50 says, well, let's read this for 49. It says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. So clearly we see here that the nation that came over here, swift as an eagle, predatory, fast, powerful, coming over here, and now you even see he's in the bald eagles, an endangered species, just as we see the life expectancy of the so-called whites is dying off. They're dying faster than they are actually producing. This is why you see all of these damn videos and divesting whole concepts between these sisters, man, choosing to get at white men more than brothers now, deserting their race, becoming bed wenches for the damn devil. Because what? He's trying to preserve his spoiled seed. The Lord shall bring against thee a nation from far the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We wasn't speaking French, English, Dutch, Spanish, none of that. Here he comes over here imposing his will upon us. A nation of fierce countenance. Yeah, he sick dogs on us, alligator bait, hanged, lynched, burned, raped, murdered, the whole nine. Drowned, tarred and feathered. Fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person old nor show favor to the young. I mean, you don't have to treat this little dude like that. You hold him, you sit him down, talk to him, say, man, what's the problem? What you doing? Let him learn his lesson, man. But buy the damn bag of chips. He buying chips because he hungry. Why else would you buy? Why else? It ain't like he stole money. He robbed the store. The scriptures even say that. But what's it in Proverbs? It said nobody despises a thief if he steal because he's hungry. Oops. See, look at it. Proverbs 6:30. It says, men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. You're supposed to have mercy on him, man. If he was hungry, man, what he stealing a bag of chips? You gonna snatch him up, man, slap the cuffs on him, intimidate him, you know, get all in his face, trip on him like that. The scriptures even said, man, if you stealing because you hungry, man, nobody would despise that. We understand that. But you're gonna have to make sure that you restore. What's it say? But if he be found, if he get busted, guess what? He has to restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. So I said, man, I don't hate the fact that you stole because you're hungry. Hey, but give it back 7 times, man. He little dude stole a bag of chips, man. You owe 7 bags of chips now. If a bag of chips is $1.50, then you owe that. But at least you didn't. At least you got satisfied when you was hungry. You ate. So now that you're not hungry no more, work it off and get that back. See, if little dude stole that, man, he hungry, man. But Esau don't give a damn because he's not gonna show favor to the young because of his fierce countenance. Now this takes the cake, and I'm gonna close out in a minute. We'll be on almost 3 hours. Look at this. This is disgusting. Yes, that's a nigga on his knees to his white Karen, and she's a mess. She looked like Shrek. You know, look, good lord. I mean, look at who these cats is even selecting. Look who he's deciding to boo up, man. Not no sisters. And look at these sisters in the back behind her. They smiling, clapping, and all that. I mean, you see the headlines, man. I haven't even got there. I'm just looking at the damn image. Y'all see it. White bride who arrived at the wedding reception with her black husband on a leash. On a leash. Divides opinion on TikTok as commenters slam racist undertones, but he insists it was a joke to show she finally got me. I'm not laughing. A couple from Tennessee raised eyebrows on TikTok with reception entrance. The bride walked in, proceeded to tour the room with her groom on a leash. Groom Trey Alexander performed quirky routine to George Clinton's Atomic Dog, said it was a joke with his siblings because dad danced to the song in the same way. Give me a break, man. I mean, what kind of repressive feelings do you got, man, in his mind? I mean, first of all, I mean, there's too much to unpack on here. I'm not gonna waste a gang of time on this cat, man. But y'all see the folly. First of all, this is number one. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy his mother taught him. This came from a woman. What did she say? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. He's already acknowledged, man, I'm subservient to this damn white woman. She's going to control and wear the pants in the house. I ain't nothing but a damn dog in her eyes. And you sit back, it's role play. Oh, this is just a joke. She finally got me. Negro, if you don't knock it off, this came from a woman that said, don't give your strength unto a woman. This wasn't a man pushing some damn agenda of toxic masculinity, as they like to say now. This ain't some misogynistic type of. No, a woman even said this. Told her son, man, don't let the woman control you. Don't let a woman have strength. Take your strength from you, man. Maintain your position as a head. Maintain your position as a strong figure in the household. Make sure that you're making wise and understanding decisions. Don't sit back and allow her to control you like that. And what's he do? Like a fool. He joking around, so-called joking around. And the little niglet women in the back, they giggling and TT and ha-ha. The other white women in the back, they're smiling. They looking like, I wish I could have me a nigga on a leash. This is disgusting, man. And if you see the video, man, they playing Atomic Dog. He moving like a damn dog, acting like he pissing and all. I mean, it's unreal. And then if you look at the bride, man, I mean, if you swirling, man, that's what you pick? That's what you pick? Old, tatted up, raggedy looking, fat, sloppy. Good Lord. I can't go no further on that. I can't. Y'all see. You see the madness. Let me close out. What else we got? Okay, here. I talked about this earlier. Bisexual people reveal they do have a preferred gender. Did you hear that? Bisexual people reveal they do, capital D-O, have a preferred gender. Oh, so they playing games? It's not, freedom of I am what I am, who I want to be, don't hate me. I was born this way, blah, blah, blah. That's not happening? Really? So that they're making choices? Excuse me? What's the scripture say? James 1 and 8. A double minded man is unstable in all his ways. So when we see this attitude and we see this activity that's happening and the mind state that modern day Sodom cultivates and allows, we're realizing that this is all game. I showed y'all the Jaffe memo last weekend where it said they were going to discourage traditional marriage and delay marriage and all of that, that they were going to increase homosexuality. They was going to minimize men in the home. They were going to provide funding and programs for single mothers and all of that. Everything that they're doing now, and that all came from Planned Parenthood. That's in every neighborhood. That's talking about black women and Hispanic women. Come on in here so we can kill them babies up in you. You don't want them. You're not ready. You don't need it. They're advertising morning after pills, man, killing off the seed. It's a complete agenda going on here. And now they're standing behind LGBTQ, blah, blah, HIV communities saying, leave us alone. You're hating if you don't allow us to do what we want to do to you and your children. And then you're saying, oh, I thought you was born that way. No, they actually are saying we're making choices to do what we're doing. There is no bisexual, man. They choosing this. This is because the instability of their ways, double-minded. Bisexual people reveal they do have a preferred gender from a man who chooses same-sex relationships because girls cost a lot to date, to a woman who prioritizes men because she wants to have a baby. Look, this is really what they're talking about. Look, bisexual people from around the world reveal the gender they prefer to date. Many people admitted they have trust issues based on their past experiences. Posting on Whisper, one person claimed men are less high and prefer girls because they've been hurt by men previously. Do you see what it is? It's emotional decisions, man. It's sacrificing. They're compromising. They're involving themselves in their curiosities because it's being promoted on TV, news, media, movies, and the whole nine. To be, they've had the, I'm bi-curious. I'm trying to figure it out. That type of thing. Being bisexual is often misunderstood, with people branding everything from greedy to confused to on the fence or accused of using their sexuality as an excuse for cheating. Now, bisexual people from around the world have taken to an anonymous sharing app, Whisper, to shed more light on what it's like to be attracted to both genders, with a particular focus on whether they have a preference for either men or women. The eye opening responses revealed it's a complicated issue with no easy answer. A case in point being a woman who prefers men because she wants children but would rather date women because they're more loving. Do you see the folly? So we see here the games that's being played in the sexual spectrum, that they're out here throwing the confusion to the kids, man. They even there's a interview, man. What's the name from Fox? Tucker Carlson's doing with a Edomite female who transitioned. She was going to be bi. She I forgot what they call it. She well, let's just say detransformed, right? She's a female. She wanted to be male, trans male or whatever, and then she went back to being female because she realized it was wrong and she didn't really feel right. But she said that the thing that got her to do it is because she grew up with the eating disorder and body disfigurement and all of that. You know, she what's the one where they be starving themselves? She was bulimic or something like that. So because of her body dysmorphia and all of that, she constantly wasn't happy with her body. All of the counselors and everybody else said, "Oh, well, when you do that, that means you're trans. That means you're sexually confused. You really probably should be a man." She buys into it. She starts going through the whole little transformation and all that, and she realizing like this ain't what I wanted. Like I was struggling with my weight, but she said it's a whole thing that they do. Anytime that especially with the youth, the teens and under teens, if you got any type of body dysmorphia, you don't like your body, something like that, propaganda machine rolls out and says, "Well, that's because you're bi, you're trans. That's because you need to come over here in these clubs. Everybody else accepts you how you are. Maybe you should try being a female. Maybe you should start being a male." I mean, it's a whole thing that goes on in this. It's pure madness. I think he said the special because he did a whole little special with her. It's supposed to come out next month or something like that. But they had a preview on YouTube that showed it, and she was breaking it down like she was like, "This is all game," and they got everything lined up, and they take advantage of these young minds of people, and they ain't even realizing that they're preying on the confusion and the madness that they got out there, right? So this is the same thing, man. Bisexual people run around here talking about they choosing because they want a man, but they want somebody that's more loving and emotional. So we'll do both, just folly. But they have a solid choice on what they want. Men say, "I really want a woman," but they high maintenance, man. I can't afford them, so let me go get a dude who I can just get my rocks off with. I mean, Sodom and Gomorrah. Y'all know. Good Lord. Just in case we was thinking, oh, things are going to get better with the economy. No. Dow plunges more than 900 points. This was as of yesterday. Its worst day since 2020 and falls for a fourth straight week. And I'm getting sick of these cats, man. Keep telling people, man, just invest in the market, man. You got to play the game. You got to figure it out. Listen, man, this thing is going down. There's holes all in the ship. I mean, grab what you can and watch what you're doing and get the hell out. I mean, it's getting ready to go down, man. 900 points is worst day since 2020. So the worst day in 2020 since the vid began. When the vid first got hit, everything crashed, right? What's stopping it right now? The vid's under control, right? Isn't it? Maybe not. But here we go. Why? Because the supply chains is breaking down. Because we're seeing everything else that's been crashing. We're seeing everything else going down. They can't get the economy under wraps. They can't get things back in order. Everything is faltering. And we're seeing here, even their beloved stocks, fourth straight week crashing, biggest plunge since 2020, since we had this pandemic hit, just hit now. It's not getting any better. Economically, trash. Food supplies, trash. War, trash. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket, man. Fast tracking our way to the end, all the way for the deliverance of the children of Israel, man. That's where we at right now. All right. But as the lesson said from the beginning, in these dark times, man. Maintain your light. Keep yourself locked into the spirit of the Lord by keeping the commandments, man. Maintain your discipline. Do what you can to be right in the eyes and the sight of the Lord, man. Allow the light of the Most High to guide your path, lead you down these dark tunnels that we're moving into, because there ain't too much more light that's around. Like I said from the beginning, there ain't too much good news, man, I can bring you outside of the gospel. That's the only good news. There's not a lot happening in the earth right now that I can tell you that things are going to turn up and everything's going to be back to normal, man. We're going to be all right, y'all. We're only going to be all right as we maintain this light of Yahweh shine the Most High and His laws, statutes, and commandments. Period. All right. So with that, man, I'm long-winded today. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, man. Hopefully everybody's well, stuck in there with me. Y'all be well, man. Have a blessed Shabbat. Let me check on into the chat, man. Make sure everybody good. Raniyah, shalom, my sister, the house of Elkanah, shalom, Ike. And blessing to you and the family. Hopefully y'all are well, man. Jawan, what's going on, Ike? Where's your cousin at, man? Tell him get on and stop hiding. All right. All praise, honor, and glory to the Hope Most High, man. Shemai Wan, Shabbat Shalom, Mike. Anybody else I miss? All right. Hopefully everybody's doing well, man. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat, man. I'm gonna get on out of here. We'll be back live in a couple of hours to close out our Shabbat, our Sabbath with a closing class here on the West Coast. Some of y'all may be close to already ending based upon your time zone. I know it's probably about 5 o'clock for some of y'all. Some of y'all it's 4 o'clock. For us, it's only 2:15, man. So we still got a little bit of ways to go before we close out. But we'll be having our closing Sabbath going live in a couple of hours. And most high willing, we'll see some of y'all on there. If not, we'll see you when the next time we kick in. And Lord willing, I'll be back on the IQ channel sometime next week. I think that's when the ban is lifted. But continually pray for us. We're praying for y'all. And that's it, man. With that being said, always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, and don't ever shoot the messenger. Shalom, y'all.